candidates.
The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
And you are finding us here right now, wherever you are. We're Adventures from the Shed, coming at you, Adventures from the Shed online. We're going to go back to our Erridan campaign and kick it over to our Dungeon Master. Jason, let's get going.
Yes, let's get going so we can get out of here and get into what we're doing next. We have been going along and trying to wrap up this campaign, but things just keep spiraling out of control. I don't know what
It's slippery.
It's like this group decides they like chaos and wanting to burn down cities and things, and that just takes time. But I'm excited to get back into it. We will throw it over to Randy first for introductions. Go ahead, man.
Hi, my name's Randy. I have a Pikachu right here.
No, you're not supposed to introduce Pikachu yet. He's supposed to go last.
Oh, my bad. He just wanted attention. That's all.
Let's restart.
Speaking of distracting, my name is Randy, and I play Les, the attack cat, or stupid cat, or, well, he's a fighter. So, but speaking of people who fight really well, let's go with Chris. Tell us about your character.
Hey, this is Chris. I'm playing Ophidian, the Yuan-Ti rogue, and I'm hoping we finally burn the city down. I know it's a big city, but I have big ambitions. So, kick it over to Aster.
All right, this is Aster. I'll be playing Ami, the druid warlock fairy, ready to kick some ass and save some plants.
Kick some ass and take some plants?
Save.
Okay. Like, what are you taking plants for?
Taking all of them.
And I am Joe. I am playing the Warforged Artificer Rolex. I will also mention that Eli is not with us yet, but he is en route, and we will add him right in as we get going. In the meantime, I think we're ready to get back into it.
Yes, there's a timer for Eli right now, 30 minutes. If he's not back in 30 minutes, his character automatically dies. So that's what's going to happen.
Oh, no, he fell off the boat into the water. Get out. No.
But his character will explode, and whoever's with him dies as well.
Oh my gosh, he's drowning. Les, stop holding him under.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But since Ophidian's character is probably in the least amount of immediate danger right now, we're going to have Ophidian do the recap for us, and we're going to kick things off.
Man, I barely remember what happened. Besides what I did, that's all I remember.
Well, that's the important part.
Yeah, I guess I just remember taking Annette's body, Annette Devia's body, because I thought she was dead. Turned out she was just had like a false life thing going on there. She awoke and was pretty freaked out that I'm probably bringing a bunch of crazy stuff onto her doorstep, but that's the way we like to play it. So she's still kind of in hiding and trying to get some stuff done for us, hopefully to get the I can't remember where she said we can go to get the loudspeaker system for the city. I can't remember what it's called, but she's trying to work that out so we could get the word out that the Wintermeres are no bueno. And I guess that's pretty much it. And I finally met with my envoy from the Yuan-Ti, and he wants me to come back to the family, as I say, come back to the fold. But I'm like, I'll think about it.
And we'll see how that goes for Ophidian. Okay. To pick up the remaining parts, actually, we'll just go ahead. We'll go around here. So, Les, why don't you go ahead and say what you and Rays were up to in the last game, and then we'll go over to Rolex to recap what him and Aster were up to.
I like to call it 3 crates and big mistakes. So
nice.
We decided we're going to wander and try to get some uniforms. Well, a uniform for Les to wear to look like a guard, a Wintermeres guard. And we saw that it was highly patrolled. So Les, not realizing the building was right next to him, devised a plan to get some crates to go and act like he was a worker, to go and, just continue down the street, try to look unnoticed. And then he's like, where is the building? And Ray's was like, oh, it's right there. So we get in there. We almost get away with getting in trouble, I should say, by the what would you say, the owner, the cash register dude, the
proprietor of the store.
The guy from Philly, I think it was.
Yeah, he wasn't buying the whole left my wallet at home excuse, so he called the main boss lady, but Ray's convinced her with a charm spell, I think it was, that they need to stop wasting my time and give me my uniform. So we did manage to get that, but then we ended up in a crowd of people. Les thought that the guards may have hired someone to blow up the crowd when he saw these well-suited guys walk into the crowd. And so he pulled one out, realized they were going to firebomb the guards, and Les tried to run away. They chased after him, but then Reyes teleported him into a rowboat. And that's where we had left off.
Okay, and then Rolex, why don't you recap where you and Ami are at right
Crap!
now?
I had already told Aster that Aster was going to do it. Now you named
Oh,
me.
okay.
All
Well,
right.
Listen,
No, it's all right.
Aster can do it then.
I'll try and fill in some. Rolex was very
Teamwork.
passive, I think, overall in the last session, where he was just kind of tagging along with Aster to get into the Wintermere Estate, talk to some plants, and just kind of play guard and run interference to make sure that everything was okay. And through those conversations, Aster talking to the plants, or not Aster, but Ami talking to the plants, found out, of course, that the Wintermere Guard and Wintermere in general just was ripping up the landscaping, hurting the plants, and that disturbed Ami a fair bit. Ami went in a timeout, and Ami and Rolex went outside and kind of waiting for the rest of the party to show up. And during that time, the protests outside the Wintermere Estate got more and more rambunctious. And at one point, I think right before we had ended, there were people in the crowd that started to throw Molotov cocktails, and Ami tried to intercept, I think, at least one of those. And honestly, I don't remember how that turned out, but that was about where we had stopped with those two
She made it
characters.
rain and got him.
There you go.
That's true. Yeah.
There was another thing. I can't remember the exact details. There was another thing that I think the tree had said something about, like the second or the third floor.
Mhm.
That seemed relevant, but I don't remember what it was. I forgot.
Third
Yes.
floor and the lights were out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you guys were inside the Wintermere Estate, which was being heavily patrolled, and there was quite a few guards preparing barricades, defenses, and things, as there's been a lot of unrest in the city after crap hit the fan underground. And it seems like the power situation in most of the city is very, very bad right now, leaving tons and tons of people without the necessary power to live. Ami and Rolex, while you were in there under the guise of being gardeners, and Ami was, very unhappy with how the plants were being treated, the plants told you that there's 3 levels to the Wintermere Estate. This third level and the first level looked normal, and the second level, all the blinds and things were shut, and it was blacked out in there. And it's been that way for the past, several hours, is what the plants told you. That was probably the floor of interest in terms of that here. So,
Cool.
With that being said, we're going to start things off with Ophidian. Ophidian, you're over in the on the northernmost point of the Guild Row. This is looking out into the open waterway towards the Nestora Tower and looking over towards the Wintermere Estate. You just have seen your envoy arrive from underwater, and again gave you the news that you weren't too happy with, that you did such a good job that you are being potentially recalled to
I need to slack off more.
Exactly. That's what, you did such a good job
Yeah.
in sowing discourse and again getting this information here. Annette Devia she is moving in towards the Winters Peak district, down in the down below the guild hall across the river. That is where the emergency broadcast system is, so to speak, that goes out to the city, that can be hopefully pirated and messages gotten out. But again, that's what she's doing right now in terms of where she's going. You, however, have been instructed by this envoy to bring him to the Wintermere Estate, or to wherever Lord Wintermere is, and to present him the ultimatum, which is where they would like to use the evidence you have gotten and gained to basically puppeteer him and bend him to their will. So, Ophidian, what are you doing?
We should take a ride on his fancy submarine to the other side of the river here.
Okay. If that's what you want to do, you can absolutely do that. The boat was already kind of like going back in there, but if you tell the envoy that that's what the best plan of action is, you can absolutely ride across the river.
Well, if it's going down, then we'll just take whatever ferry is available then to get to the Wintersmere Estate. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. It takes you about probably a good 30 minutes moving. And again, I assume that you're taking a carriage or something like that here. You're not walking.
Yep.
It takes you about 30 minutes to head down south on Guild Row to where there are ferries that go throughout the river channels and the waterways. It costs you another 10 gold to get that far. And then it's going to take a few hours for you to travel the waterway up towards where this place is. Is there anything that you would like to discuss with the envoy, as he is hooded and very much shrouded in as far as his appearance? He definitely, you can see, the 3 fingers that he has instead of the 5. You can see under some of the light that glints through the windows of the carriage, the very, very thick, scaly kind of hide that is his skin. Is there anything that you would like to ask or do? He's very quiet right now. He is sitting there, just kind of quietly contemplating as you guys are going forward.
How do you propose to get Phineas to really bend to our will? Do you think he's going to care, especially who he's aligned with right now?
So is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Okay. As you ask him, he goes, with your evidence that you have procured, we have means in our networks to distribute things. We can bring this lord to its knees and watch the city crumble, but that would not necessarily be the best for us. To subjugate the population, it is easier to puppeteer someone in power already.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's what I'm talking about. I don't think you understand Phineas's mood at the moment. I think he's going to be acting like a trapped animal. He's probably going to want to lash out.
A trapped animal will look for an out, especially one as wise and as seasoned as Lord Wintermere. We will present him with an out, and with that, he will bend to us.
What do you know about the Scythia Antiva?
Ancient bloodline, one that we have been suspicious about still existing for some time. You have confirmed that wretched, disgusting abomination of a family is still here and connected to the Wintermeres. This, upon revealing to the public, will cause the city to uprise, and Lord Wintermere will lose everything. Not even he has enough power to withhold the population of the city by himself.
So when we get there, what's the plan?
You will get me an audience with him, and I will take it from there.
All right. See how this goes.
And as he says this, he goes, "Show me more of this evidence that you have, these images that you have acquired. That way I can be better prepared."
I mean, I'll show him whatever I have, but I know Annette's got most of she probably has the better stuff.
Okay. He looks through it here, and as he is staring at them and he's going through them, he goes, he kind of like, you feel like this intense kind of like swing of emotion as he goes, "I was under the impression that you had more Ophidian."
Yeah, I did, but Phineas was able to obtain some other pictures from my other contact. Now, whether he destroyed them, I don't know. I don't know if Annette has more copies.
This Annette woman, where is she?
I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to try to contact her.
Our masters will be displeased with this Ophidian. They were under the impression that you had much more evidence against him.
Oh, I did, except, the person that had it was almost killed. I guess I'll just have to stay here in the city longer then. I guess I won't be returning home since I'm such a disappointment.
As you say this, he kind of slithers very quickly right up to your face. And as he does, you can see the large yellow slit eyes of a serpent that kind of just get like right there. And you can hear a snarl in his voice. And he goes, "You've been gone for too long. Did you forget the penalty for failure of our masters? I advise you, Ophidian, to take this more seriously for your own safety."
I haven't failed once for our masters.
That is yet to be seen now.
That's true.
And as you say this, he kind of slithers back into his seat. Is there anything else that you would like to say to him?
Nope. I'll just sit there
Okay.
with the
You're
shitty
not
grin on
even
my
going
face.
to address how the Wanty issued a recall for the Ophidian model?
I'm not worried about it.
All right.
Okay. We go over to Ami and Rolik since Les's partner in crime, Ray's right now, is not here at the moment. Ami, Rolex, you just saw Ami release a torrent of water across a group of hostile, rowdy commoners that were outside the Wintermere estate protesting against what's been going on in the city. These four men or you don't know if they're men or women. They're four hooded figures in these blackish kind of cloaks that chucked what were Molotov cocktails essentially towards the walls. And as this happened, again, this torrent of water doused them, and you hear them just smack against the stonework. Some of them actually fly over the wall itself, and you can just hear the glass breaking as this happens. The four individuals, two of them went one way and two of them went the opposite direction as this happened. They see the water coming down and they realize that something is not going according to plan, and they start to bolt as the crowd is getting more hostile and agitated at things. The guards that are in the front, protecting the front gate here, start to again draw their weapons and are kind of like more threatening right now to the crowd who's getting a little bit more hostile. What do the two of you want to do?
Well, I'm thinking from Rolex's perspective, they didn't like Wintermere anyway. Somebody was just going to torch Wintermere. I'm not sure that he cares. So, Rolex just going to ask for Ami, should we do anything about them?
Ami is still in your chest plate, by the way, because again, yeah.
Well, she had to peek out to cast a spell, but
but she's still
in the compartment there. Yeah.
Ami just kind of grins and says, "I'm just holding back everything I can to not tell the guards that I did their job better as a tiny little fairy than they did and their entire armada."
So then
we still haven't seen any of the others?
No, you have not yet.
So then we're not here, is what you're saying.
If I had a coin to take out, I would.
Okay. Then I think we can proceed to be not here and look around more. I'd like to kind of survey the area more, Jason, to see, we're going to see some sort of reaction, right? Because like you mentioned, at least one of them went over the wall and shattered, and I'm sure people understood what was supposed to happen. And then the sudden downpour and all this that just happened, just kind of wander nonchalantly and try and gather the general mood of what might be about to happen to try and prepare for when our party shows.
I think it might be a little bit easier to survey now too, with everybody kind of paying attention to the same thing in the same area.
Okay. I would say that's a perception check, unless you have another idea of what that would be.
From both?
I mean, I'm good at investigation, but I honestly don't know what I would be investigating. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, perception, I think.
Okay, I think a general perception check from both of you,
Yeah.
Ami, if you're doing the same thing.
Ami's going to move up to his shoulder.
So you got some
Okay.
height advantage. 7, not
Okay.
extremely perceptive. It's
Okay.
14 with Ami. Yeah.
All right, Ami. Rolex. While Rolex is scanning the area here, Rolex, you are really. This is the first time that you've seen maybe angry mobs as a group of individuals. Most of the humans and the humanoid creatures that you see, you try to learn from and you try to evaluate what's going on. This is the first time that you can see genuine hostility and anger from a massive crowd. So while you are looking over things, I think you probably get a little bit too involved and too distracted with some of the individuals there to actually see kind of what's going on around the actual area. But Ami, sitting inside of Rolex's chest plate, you see that again, the water that was rushing down and doused the area, the crowd got a little bit more excited. And the guards definitely got more hostile, especially as these bottles went through there here. You can see the one guard, the main one that was outside the front entrance, who initially didn't want to let you guys in. You can see him bring out a whistle and he starts to blow into it and he yells back. He goes, "It's getting more violent out here. We need more help." And you can see up on the walls, there are more guards like moving forward, and you can see and you can hear what sounds like machinery behind the walls. And you see like the tips of large metallic arrows kind of like pointing over the wall. It looks like they have ballistas that are stationed on the actual wall itself that are kind of popping up and pointing down at the crowd. You also hear heavy footsteps. You think at first with a 14 that it is maybe just Rolex's feet kind of clink, clink, wonking around. But coming through the front gate, you see two massive obsidian guards, these heavy, shining black metallic constructs that are very large. I mean, they make Rolex look tiny in comparison, and Rolex is pretty big as far as a construct goes. And they clink, clink, and as they make their way out, you can see the crowd kind of like take a few steps back, and the people who were in the front, like pushing against the barriers that the guards had put in there, kind of like lean back a little bit and start to take steps back. What would you like to do?
Question. Hello?
There it starts. All right.
That's right.
I see.
Okay.
Thought it was my brain for a second. So
That's the sound of Ami's brain kicking on.
what are you gonna do? Can I make a nature check on the big babies? I would like to know what they are, like specifically.
The big babies? What?
The obsidian guards.
Those are constructs. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what nature you would roll on that here as far as what you're trying to discern from nature, but they are massive, massive constructs. They are like Rolex.
Oh, okay.
But they appear to be non-sentient machines.
They are,
right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, based on what we've seen so far, and
Yes.
they're like what, between 15 and 20 feet tall. Essentially, they're
Yes.
big machines that crush things when their masters tell them to.
Mm-hmm.
Ami will just whisper in Rolex's ear, "You can go back to being 14 feet tall if you want."
I don't think it makes me as strong as them.
You don't know that?
Okay.
Then yeah, I guess at that point, Ami will get like his attention seriously too, and kind of point out in case he hadn't seen, like all the ballistas and the extra people
Rolex,
coming out, and just figure out what we want to go from there.
You would notice this at that point then, Rolex.
That seems very dangerous. We should not be in front of any of those weapons.
I agree.
I guess, do we have, I don't want to say a dark, secluded corner, but somewhere that's obviously out of the way of attention? Just a spot that we can kind of hang.
Sure.
But hopefully something that still has a good vantage point of the area so we know when people are around.
Yeah, and again, from your last game here, when you guys made your way off to like a nonchalant place, no need to roll on that one. There are several places, and again, most of the attention from the guards and everyone else is like at the front gate area. So there's a lot of focus on there, not so much as if you guys take a few steps back and you can see going back down towards the city, towards Hightown, where there are other buildings and like that. Just maybe 100 yards away, there are several larger trees. There are like, very ornate kind of like walkways with plenty of cover where you guys can kind of move over to and still have a good view of the entire front of the Wintermere estate and be kind of out of the area still. So if you guys wanted to, you guys could absolutely do that.
Cool. I think, for me at least, I think that's the best approach. Ami, does that sound good?
I definitely think it's a good idea to at least keep some kind of like lookout. Do we know where the party will be coming from?
You guys don't, because again, you guys really didn't coordinate the best when you all split up
Yeah,
in
and
multiple ways.
When we were first out there before the whole Molotov cocktail rain shower thing happened, the idea was to be standing at what would be pretty much the main approach, like what would lead up towards the main gates, and that's kind of where we were hanging out.
And
But
we'd
I
be able
don't
to
know
see
that
that from where he
I don't think
mentioned.
I just don't think it's a good idea for us to stand out in the open like that, but somewhere maybe we could see that.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
though
that's what
in reality, our party will never approach the way we expect, we can
Yeah.
at least look for it in the way that most people would approach.
yeah, if this place that's being mentioned is somewhere that we can still clearly see that area and be out of, not to not to flip the morale, but like line of fire in case whatever happens,
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree with that. I like it.
Okay, so we'll let you guys again just chill out where you're at right now. Here, still looking for your party and things. You guys are in a nonchalant kind of area where most people, even walking by a 7-foot tall construct, they are very much focused on what's going on at the Wintermere estate, and any people who are passing by. And you do notice there are some more people coming up that way here, looking to join the kind of riot and the protest and stuff. But they really pay no attention to the two of you, as you guys were never there, and they make their way up. Now, we'll move over to Les and Rays. You guys are in a boat right now, and there are several guards that have jumped in. You've jumped into basically a guard boat since you guys were dressed as Wintermere soldiers, and your goal was to jump into a ferry and make your way over to the Wintermere estate. As you are pulled on board, again, you guys kicked a hornet's nest over in that particular part of the city. You can hear the remaining guards that are in that part of the city fighting with the civilians and fighting with the citizens over there. You can hear like blades clanging against each other. And you can hear people like running and screaming in different directions. But you guys are on the water and making your way across towards the Wintermere estate right now. And as you are, you can see the guard, the young looking guard who was initially the one who saw you both and saw you, Les, tackle somebody and restrain them, and the entire kind of riot ensued. You can see him like pushing his way through the boat as you and Rays are sitting there, still kind of catching your breath from what just happened. You can see the young guard walk over to you and he goes, "Are you all right, men?"
Yeah, we're okay. We got away with our lives, so that's good. They're going crazy up there.
He's like, I saw that here. I didn't know that we had any magic using gods here. He looks over at Rays, who's not here at the moment. Rays is still kind of, I'm assuming, has his head down and is trying to catch his breath.
He's out cold. He teleported me here, and then he fell and hit his head, so he won't be talking for a little bit. But yeah, he's practicing that on the side. He wanted to go and make sure he was skilled in case it was necessary. So
he goes, "Oh, very well. So what did you see? I mean, there was somebody in the crowd that just decided to attack you? I mean, this is becoming madness here this evening."
I saw some guys with jackets on, and they were moving in the crowd suspiciously, and then I saw them look like they were about to light something. And well, we don't want innocent civilians, tax-paying citizens, to our wallet dying, so I immediately went to go see if it was a bomb, and I found this Molotov cocktail the equivalent of in his jacket, and he was, I think they're going to firebomb you. And that's when he alarmed everyone that we were attacking them, and it got crazy.
He looks at it and he grabs the bottle and he goes, Yes, we've been having reports all over the city that these are being chucked at us, not citizens. They are attacking us out in the open and becoming more brazen. Several of these splinter groups and these gangs have become much more active since things have went down at the power plant. We need to be on the highest alert, so prepare yourselves. We're heading over to the estate right now. We should be approaching from the back waterway, and Lord Wintermere will be addressing us here soon.
Oh, that sounds good. I lift Ray's up, throw him over my shoulder, and get off the little rowboat to get over to the regular boat.
Just drag him around by the horns. He loves that. All right.
You guys are making your way across the river, and you guys will be over there probably in about 20 or 30 minutes on the larger boat. And as you're on there, you can see there are several guards on the actual boat. They are outfitting themselves. They are arming themselves, and it looks like they are preparing for a pretty, intense engagement as they move forward. Is there anything else that you want to do, Les, while you're on the bigger boat moving across the river?
Are we heading to the main estate, or are we just? What's the plan exactly?
Yeah. Are you asking the same guy who was talking to you?
Yes.
Okay. He looks at you and he goes, yes, we're heading to the Wintermere estate. Lord Phineas has pulled most of the guards back that were in this area to the estate to secure his compound and prepare for whatever he's about to unleash in the city.
Sounds good. All right. We'll be ready. Wake up, buddy.
Start slapping Ray's back and forth in the face, who is still asleep. As he's still laying there, again, his disguise self is still up because he's not unconscious. He's just pretending, we'll say right now. Yeah. Some of the guards come over and look and go, can we offer any assistance? Does he need healing? Does he need
he's okay. He just bumped his head. He's all right.
Make a deception check real quick to see if that you can protect Rays from any scrutiny at the moment.
It's a +2. Good luck. 18, not bad.
18, all right. With an 18, with what they have going on here, they kind of go, all right, well, we heard that you helped several of us out overall across the river. Good job. They kind of give you a little pats on the shoulder, and then they go about doing what they're doing, getting ready on the boat.
I'll pretend to act busy, also checking, just walking back and forth, just, I don't know, trying to help someone lift a sail or whatever, and then check on Ray's, just back and forth, just busy work while we sail across.
Okay. We go over to Ophidian as this is happening. Ophidian, you're on going up, making your way up the river here. You've made your way onto the ferry. It was another 20 gold for the ferry because again, you took. Oof. Yep, you took a good. You have good cabin on the ferry right now as you're making your way up towards the high town. Is there anything that you would like to do while you're on your way? On your way up, you can see that there are several people on this ferry. A lot of them seem to be on edge as there's a lot of chaos going on in the city. You can see there are several individuals who are like clustered together, and they seem to be having some intense conversations with each other. What would you like to do?
Do we have a cabin by ourselves? Myself and the envoy?
Yeah, well, for the 20 gold, yeah, you would have a cabin by yourself.
I will disguise myself as one of my other aliases. I'll do the try to remember. Where's my stuff at? Oh my god.
Shiitake, Portobello.
No, it's going to be the Lise de Belem, the arrogant daughter of this former baron who's had died.
Yep. So yeah, you can easily do that here, not a problem. Yep. What were you wanting to do? What were you wanting to do with that? Anything on the boat?
Well, that's a little bit easier for me to get an audience if I'm already like high society, somebody that I've been seeing at parties and whatnot, and maybe even talk to Phineas before, or his wife, because as Elise, I hit on all the women and try to steal them from their husbands, and cause start duels with the husbands if they don't like it.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, easy enough.
You're being a home wrecker.
Oh, I'm totally a home wrecker.
Easy enough. As you're doing that, just make me a general perception check while you're getting ready to see if you notice anything with the envoy.
19.
19, a 19. That's a healthy perception check right there. So as you're getting ready and you're looking into the mirror, applying, the different things that go into your aesthetic for this particular person, you probably spend a little bit more time creating this disguise because you have to again look the part of a noble, of
Right.
somebody of high society versus Chikati or somebody else who could be more, commoner, maybe looking in terms
Correct.
of the details. But as you do, you overhear the envoy whispering something and muttering something to what appears to be a stone that's in his hand. Again, you're familiar with these things. We look like sending stones and stuff like that. And as he's muttering and whispering things into the stone, you also see outside your window, you see several people moving back and forth. And one individual is walking down towards another first class, accommodation. This person is being accompanied by a few people that you recognize from Ray's organization, the Fifth Form, people you saw at the various safe houses that you've been to. These were typically kind of people who were pretending to be just regular customers, but really were working with his organization. You can see them now not looking like, hooded, like sleeping drunk customers in a tavern. You can see them wearing actual kind of like armor and walking down the hallway towards the ferry, towards one of the cabins in the ferry. So that's what you notice with a 19 currently.
So I can't tell what the envoy whispered.
Make me a I would say with a 19, yes, you would hear. You overhear him whispering again. He was saying that Ophidian might not have been as successful as we thought, and that Plan B might need to be put into effect.
I told you to take me, Ophidian, and you didn't. You failed us.
Ooh.
So for the Fifth Form people in armor, what kind of armor are they in?
Since they just walked past quickly with a 19, it looks to be some sort of lightweight looking armor. It looks to be chainmail, but it's intricately woven. You would probably associate this with probably mithril of some kind. Definitely high-end armor.
So they're not trying to disguise themselves as any type of city guard or any other.
No. They look like adventurers basically, but they're all wearing like the same kind of thing. They look like basically like private guards.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything that you want to do?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then we will speed up the boats here. And Rolex and Ami, it takes you guys a few hours of standing there. It starts to get towards the dead of night by the time you start seeing boats and things like that coming into the different areas around Hightown. You obviously don't know who's on these boats here, but again, by this time, your boat pulls up to the back of the Wintermere estate. There is a dock, and you can see the outside walls and the large manor estate. And as you get out, you pick up Ray's with you, and you start carrying Ray since he's still pretending to be asleep since he's not here. And you hop off the boat, and you make your way into the interior of the Wintermere estate. Now, again, inside of here, it is high activity. There is a lot of guards moving around here. They are setting up barricades. They are building things. And you can see now, Les, as you're walking forward, and you've seen these creatures before, the large mechanical constructs, the obsidian guards, you see them moving around and patrolling through the estate. And as you make your way up into the actual estate itself, you can see where Ami's garden was, where Rolex were at prior. And you can also see the large 3-story estate with, again, the front two. And now it's because it's very, very dark outside. The first floor and the third floor, lights are on. Second floor is completely like all the shutters are shut. There's no light in there currently, and it looks completely like deserted on that level.
Les gets a little smirk, but then he realizes that he did not see Rolex or Ami when he looked towards the garden, and then kind of frowns again. This is not going according to somewhat of a plan.
I'm pretty
He
disappointed
thinks
about the
to
garden
himself.
too.
as you say this here, a soldier walks up to you. She is wearing what appears to be a very, very high-ranking. It's there's a collared kind of like insignia that the Wintermere guards wear. The regular ones are like the bluish kind of cloaks and stuff. This one here is a different insignia on it. And again, Les, being a soldier and somebody who's worked in the city for a while, you recognize this as a higher rank officer. And she walks up, she starts to organize the people, telling them, head over there, do this. And she sees you, Les, just holding up Ray's, I'm sorry, Les. And she goes, what the hell happened to him?
Oh, he saved my life, and he took a big hit for doing so. Do we have a med bay I can take him to?
She looks over and she goes, good Lord, we're going to need a bigger med bay here tonight if the reports are accurate about tonight. Yes, on the other side of the manor. Drop him off and then report to the south wall.
I will do. And I give the best salute that I've seen others do while holding somebody, so it's going to look sloppy regardless. So.
Make a performance check. Let's just see how good it is.
I was hoping I could get away without a performance check with it.
Carrying
Carrying somebody. Let's go.
Is anybody going to
13.
recognize that he's carrying oats over his shoulder and hauling nowhere around?
Well, Ray's is currently disguised at the moment. So,
Yeah.
But Les, as you go to salute, you just kind of let Ray's like slip off your shoulder, and then he's like dangling down. His pants kind of drop down a little bit, and you have to hold him back up and
Whoops.
get him back on. And she's like, just go, please. Drop him off, report to the south wall. We need more people over by the ballistas.
Yes, sir. And ran off.
As you make your way through the actual manor estate, you can see there are several guards now, and it is packed in here. Something big is being prepared inside this area, and you can see several guards now are breaking out saws and like hacking down other trees inside right now, preparing what looks to be more defenses and more barricades and barriers as this happens.
He's gonna be pissed.
Oh, gonna be.
I look for whatever medical station that I can find. If I see anybody on like makeshift gurneys or like dead guards like wrapped up outside or something that will give away where they've been operating on people or anything. And I head that way. I don't necessarily go in there, but I'm going to at least head that direction so I don't look suspicious.
Okay, yeah. As you head that direction, Ray's starts to come to, and again, you can put him down and he starts walking with you. We're going to say at this point here, because Ray should hopefully be here with us in a few minutes, is back up. And as you guys are making your way through, Ophidian, the ferry makes its way into Hightown, and people start to disembark. As they disembark, you make your way out of the ferry and onto the actual city streets. You know where the Wintermere estate is. What would you like to do?
I'd like to pay attention to see where the fifth form guys are doing.
Okay, so you purposely hold back and wait for them to get off as well, correct?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. As you do this, you see there is an individual who is walking down with about 4 of the fifth form people. And again, you recognize a couple of them. You don't recognize all of them because, again, not all of them were in those bars, but you do recognize 2 of them from there. And you kind of hone in on them as they're walking their way out. As they make their way out, you can see them move over towards one of the taverns that's in Hightown that's on its way up to the Wintermere estate. And there are a large group of people in front of that particular tavern. He makes his way over towards them, and you can see him address them briefly. How close are you wanting to be to this?
Enough where I could, not that I could really read lips, but I guess enough if I could kind of pick up some words, kind of get a little bit of a.
As this happens, as you're like seeing them move over towards the tavern area, you see the envoy. He's with you, and he's like, Ophidian, bring me to this Wintermere. We have no time to waste.
This is not your town. It's my town. We'll do things as I please.
Okay.
Who runs town?
As you say this, his eyes and the tone again shifts. I need you to make me a persuasion check or intimidation check if you're trying to be intimidating and say, "This is my town." Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, let's do persuasion. I'm not trying to be complete dick about it.
Okay.
24.
All right. As you say this, he stops moving and he turns back to you and he goes, "Fine. I will yield to your expertise, but make no mistake, Ovidian, this is not your town. It would be wise of you to remember your place." But he seems to stay and wait for you.
All right.
Okay. With that, you turn your attention back to the fifth form people. And as you try to read their lips from where you're at here and try to kind of gauge what they're saying, make me a investigation check, I guess.
16.
Okay, with a 16, you are able to gain a few things that are being said. You hear west side of the wall. You because again he's like talking and turning his head around and addressing the group, so you kind of like catch glimpses of it. You don't get a chance to look at all the words that are coming out of his mouth. With a 16, as he turns his head and his back towards you, you just lose the context of what's being said there. But with a 16, you do get enough. He says, west side of the wall, east side of the wall, coordination, wait for the signal. And that's kind of what you hear from them as he's talking. You can see like there are several individuals inside that mob of people these around kind of nodding their heads. And as they're nodding their heads, they start to break off and move about their way.
How many were there?
There's probably about a good 40 of them there.
Okay. I will look back to the envoy like, we can continue on to the estate now. And I'll ask them, what do you know about the fifth form? I'll try to say that quietly as I can so just the envoy can hear me.
Yeah. So as you say that to the envoy goes, the fifth form. Peasants in terms of their size. Idealists from what we gather. Relatively harmless in our perspective.
Well, as we walk to the estate, I'll just say they're looking to probably cause some chaos at the estate, which is fine for the moment. Just FYI.
Let them scurry like the insects that they are.
That's all I need. I just need somebody buzzing the tower.
Okay. Rolex and Ami. It has been a while. You guys have been hanging out there. It's getting late and it's getting darker. And again, the crowd is not seeming to subside. But you do see now the guard presence and the amount of security that's in the front has swelled. There is a ton of it. You can see there are guards on the actual top wall here. There are tons of them now. Before it was a handful of them were patrolling around. Now you see large ballistas aiming down at the crowd. You see they have what appears to be like lanterns that are out that are shining down lights into the crowd, overseeing things. There are two heavy obsidian soldiers that are standing there at the front gates on either side as like kind of crowd control. You see more and more people moving in. Rolex, go ahead and make me a perception check because you've seen the fifth form. You've been in there before. Ami really hasn't, so Ami wouldn't know what to look for. But let's just see if you recognize anybody.
See what 7. I am not at all perceptive this evening.
Rolex is he's enjoying the night as far as seeing many people.
There's a heck of a lot of people watching going on because there's a heck of a lot of people that need watching.
Okay. With a 7 as well, you don't notice the envoy or this other individual that is Ophidian who is in disguise right now. You have not seen this disguise on Ophidian. Ophidian, make me a perception check and let's see if you notice them on your way up to this area. Because again, they're hiding off in a little bit of it. They're off the main path.
17.
Okay, with a 17, again, you see like standing behind some of like the trees and like off the actual way that leads up to the actual estate, there is a warforge just standing there observing things. You see Rolex. You see Rolex like looking over and out, and he does not see or notice you because obviously again you're disguised and you don't look anything like yourself currently. But you do notice that one of your team members are standing off to the side of the road.
And then what is he, just people watching?
Yeah.
Looks to be.
And Ami is probably visible sitting on his shoulder or something like that. But yeah.
Okay. I will really kind of pay no attention to them then.
Okay. All right. Rolex, you see again as people are passing by, there are several, most of them are looking to be more commoner style clothing here. You do see that there is a few noble people, and one of them is coming up. What does your disguise look like as this baroness, this daughter?
I guess it would be like it's still like a shirt and pants, like kind of fancy, but still where I could able to move around and fight with it because she's still armed with the rapier and all that because she still fights duels with people, but as feminine as possible, but still able to kick some ass.
Okay, all right.
The hair is like a ponytail done up.
Absolutely. So yeah, you do notice there is a very well dressed looking individual walking up towards the thing as well, along with the rest of the crowd of people who are moving forward. Rolex and Ami, is there anything else that you want to do at the moment?
It looks like there's just more guard activity and they're getting ready to attack these people. Since I don't like Wintermere and the people outside don't like Wintermere, maybe try and work our way inside to stop it somehow, or at least to put a pause on launching big arrows into a crowd.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's up to you, Ami. Ami, you're there
might
as
be
well.
a way we can sabotage the ballista or something. Oh, we got a grand entrance coming here.
Hey, there he is.
Bueno, I'm here.
Bueno.
I'm not late.
Welcome.
I'm not
just in
late. You're
time.
late.
Just in time.
It's all
Definitely
right.
haven't been awake for 24 hours. Who does that?
Awesome.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay because Les has taken good care of you. Just only gave you a small head wound.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
I didn't actually drown you on the rowboat.
Why not? I get to roll a new character on the last session.
It is tempting to go full monk mode for this one.
Monkey.
All right. He wouldn't let me.
Okay, so Les, by this time Ray starts to wake up, still disguised, but you guys are dead center now. Just so you're aware, Rays, Les has led you into the heart of the Wintermere estate. There are guards everywhere, obsidian soldiers everywhere, and you guys are currently disguised as guards at the moment.
You're lucky I'm good at this.
Remind me to never cut you off at the bar again.
Will do if we get out of this alive. So the second story windows are the whole floor is dark. That's probably our goal, but we really need to meet up with everyone else. I don't know if you saw, but we were heading towards the med stations because I acted like you were a fallen soldier. I don't know how much you were listening, but so we are in the clear right now, but they might spot us if we don't start acting somewhat appropriate to the situation.
Okay. Now, for those of you who are on Roll20 right now, you can see I just switched over the map to the player view. Now we have all the players, and you guys are all kind of in this general area. Now, there are outlines of the buildings. I wasn't able to put roofs on them because I ran out of time when I was making things this week. But you can see kind of where you guys are currently at. Rays and Les, you guys are right here. I'll ping where you guys are at right now on the map in like the heart of the estate. Rolex and Ami are over here on the pathway. There are a bunch of, again, citizens out there between the grandeur of the front entrance of the Wintermere estate as possible. And then Ophidian is here making his way up towards the front. So again, he can see how to best get in or move into the place to get an audience with Lord Wintermere himself. We have the several obsidian guards around the estate itself. So now that if everyone can see that,
Mhm.
and we're all relatively in the same place now. We'll start with Rays here. Rays, what would you like to add to this here? We'll throw you right into the deep end with Les, as you guys are, again, dead center in the middle of the estate. You can see the manor off to your side. Again, second level of the manor, completely dark. All the windows are shut. Looks like they're blacked out even. And then the front and the second and the first and the third floor have lights on, as it is very easy to tell that they're lit up because it is nighttime right now. It's probably close to 11 o'clock at night at the moment.
So we hear this commotion, like we know the commotion going off to the west, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear the mob outside. The mob has not turned violent yet and started like attacking people, but you can hear chanting, you can hear, yelling, you can hear people being generally protesting and what's going on around them.
I want to see if I can cheat something. That being the spell message. It's cantrip. Point your finger towards a creature within range. Whisper a message. I'm gonna point into towards the mob, because I'm gonna Ray's thinking, what are the chances that they're on the wrong side of the wall? And I'm going to try and contact Ami, because Rolex is not a great conversation.
Okay, so as you make your way up past the gate, because that's where you can really see into the mob, because again, there's high stone walls everywhere. So we're going to move you and Les up there, because Les was taking you up to that side of the estate anyways, because that's where the medical tent is, and he was claiming that you had been hit on your head, which is why you weren't talking too much during this time. As you pass by the barricades and several large obsidian guards with looks to be actual cannons that are pointing towards the front gate themselves, you kind of point your finger out, and what do you say in the message as you're pointing your finger out, trying to get to Ami?
If you can hear me, please say you're inside the manor walls.
Okay. Moving past the front entrance there, you're going to have a few opportunities to hit Ami on this here through the sea of people.
Please don't hit me.
So go ahead and make me a Arcana check to see how good your aim is with this magical spell.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
You don't want to do it again, but that was definitely the chair.
Can I?
There it goes. See?
I guess I would defeat the pulper.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's go. What do I got? 21.
Okay, a 21. You point your finger out, and as you point through the crowd, again, you say, you hear coming back to you. Inside of your head, you go, who is this? I'm not inside. I'm outside here protesting. Where did this come from? You hit somebody, but it doesn't seem to be Ami. You have another chance to hit. I mean, it's a high DC because again, you're pointing into a random mob trying to get it. So go ahead and make me another Arcana check as you're passing by the wall.
Okay.
You're trying to hit like a needle tip on like 1,000 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically speaking, wait, has Ami exited Rolex yet?
No, she's still inside Rolex's chest.
Then technically I'm targeting a creature that has total cover.
Well, she's looking out from her chest plate right now, so
Ami's still on Rolex's shoulder.
Yeah.
Can I actually?
And you wouldn't know that anyways because you haven't been there, so you don't know that she's actually in his chest plate. You're just trying to find her.
Can I take a second to make a perception check and look over?
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
I'm looking specifically for Rolex now.
Okay.
It's okay, well, couldn't target the fairy.
All right. Actually, from where you're at, you probably wouldn't be able to see them because Rolex purposely got off the path and is nonchalantly staying off the road where he's kind of out of sight slightly. So it's very, very hard to see him from here. So it's a high DC. Make me a perception check.
Oh, that's +11 versus +4. Roughly the same roll, a 20.
A
Damn
20,
you, Rolex,
yeah.
and your nonchalance.
Yeah, you don't see Rolex through the crowd as you're looking through the ball, because you're looking through bars, you're looking through the gate, you're looking through soldiers, you're looking through crowd, trying to find Rolex, and yeah, it's tough. You don't see him.
I think maybe when Rolex changed the appearance of his armor, he just turned it into bars. Just camouflage. Yeah.
Yep.
Excuse me, soldier. I'm gonna holler to a random soldier I see.
Okay. Yeah. You see us one of the he's like loading up like what looks to be cannon shot next to these cannons where you guys are at. He goes, yes. What do you want?
I was actually looking for someone more that was carrying like pieces of wood and stuff that was trying to like build up the barricade. Sorry, I should have elaborated.
Sorry,
not
you're like,
you.
I was looking for
not
somebody
you.
with some wood.
He's like, screw you too, man. I'm trying to work here, and he's putting cannon shots.
I just want to say, excellent job. Excuse me, you soldier.
You see, there's a soldier like with a wagon full of like wood planks, and he's like pushing it through there, trying to deliver it somewhere. He stops and he goes, "Yes."
Oh, this is some sturdy wood, but there should be sturdier stuff. Do you know where the gardeners are? They can probably point us to the best stuff if we really want to fortify this place.
The gardeners, I think they were here a while ago. There was a really small-looking fairy person and a big robot.
Yes,
She looked very pissed off and very agitated. I don't know. She might have been crazy. I'm not sure how fey creatures are sometimes, but they were here a while ago. They were off over towards where the fountain is, where we've been collecting wood and supplies. But I think they left.
You just missed them, buddy. The shift ended 10 minutes ago.
Well, we need to get them back in here. If we want to fortify this place, they're going to burn this place down if we don't get the better wood that's like, flame retardant and whatnot. So we need to get them here ASAP. You need to send somebody soon or tell the supervisor, somebody in charge, that we need them back.
We need a gardener stat.
Make a persuasion check or a deception check or even intimidation check if you're trying to get this person to move quickly on what you're asking.
I'm going to go intimidation.
Give me a gardener, I'll kick your ass.
Oh, 11, seriously? I'm going to use a lucky point, I guess. No, I'll save those.
For what, Randy?
You know what? I'll just use it. I'll try again. I'm going to try one last time.
You follow that with a 1.
How's that?
I took lucky for my last one. How did I follow that?
There
All
it
right,
is.
24. So I start to say something, I stammer, I bite my tongue, ow, and then I'm like, you know what? Find them now.
He goes, I think Sula, she knows them. She's out front. Sure. He kind of like dumps the wood into a pile and he walks out towards the front gate, and you can see him like lean through the gate, and he starts yelling towards some of the guards that are out there. And you can see there's a young woman. She moves her way up. She looks tired. She's been out in front dealing with rioters for some time now, as this has been going on for a while. You can see them talking, and you can see her like look back towards the crowd where Ami and Rolex had left, and you assume that they're looking for them, but what do you want to do?
Well, I sent them to go get them, so I guess I'll follow behind and see if I can help point them out.
Okay. As you do this here, you see the woman. She goes, what? You're the one who's requesting the gardeners to come back in here? You think this is a time for gardeners?
These guys are firebombing other places. We saw it at the docks. They were going to do it here, and they probably already tried it. And if they do it, we need the flame retardant wood, and only the gardeners probably know where it's at.
The gardeners know how to make flame retardant wood?
Yes.
I thought they were here just to garden and to make the plants grow.
They grew flame retardant trees somewhere on this property. We need to know where it's at so we can get that wood.
Really? I had no idea that Ami was so talented. All right. I'm not sure. They went this way here. If you want, come out here and help me try to find them. We might go faster this way.
All right, let's go.
Okay. There is the main iron barred gate that is down right now. Off to the side, there is what looks to be in the stone pillars that hold up the actual gate. Looks to be a guard entrance where there is a little hallway that leads outside, and it goes out into the actual front. So they don't actually have to raise up the actual gate itself. As they make their way out, you guys are dressed as guards, and as you make out, you guys are greeted by a chorus of boos and people yelling at you and like throwing like trash and food towards you guys. As again, the crowd is not happy with the Wintermeres, and they are there protesting and rioting to a large degree. So you make your way out into this area here, and as you do, Ophidian, you would recognize, as you're making your way up to the gate here, you would recognize a familiar-looking cat wearing Wintermere garb. You don't recognize Reyes, who has disguised himself differently currently, but you do recognize Les walking out with another soldier into the front of the area. What would you like to do?
I pay no attention to him. Just
Okay.
like he's just another guard.
Okay. They pass you as they start, as you see the young woman, she starts to go this way. I think they went down here. I believe Ami stays down towards this part of Hightown, and they start to make their way down through the crowd of people here. The people are yelling. They are loud. They're not doing anything hostile towards you, except.
Sorry,
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to see if I can make a perception check. I mean, I'm seeing people yelling at me, so I'm wondering if by chance I could possibly be on the lookout with a perception checks of Rolex, or if I roll high enough, maybe I possibly see a Ophidian.
Yeah, so as you make your way down the way, that was going to happen here. But I also need Reyes to make me a perception check as well.
You got it.
How does
30.
A 30.
His 30 sound?
My eyes see all.
Not my 14. Yeah, boo you too.
Okay. As you're making your way through there, Sula, she has her spear out, and she's kind of like pushing some of the people away from her. Reyes, yeah, you see everything. And as you're making your way down, you can see Les like moving past some of the trees and things like that, heading down towards the main part of Hightown. You kind of grab him by the collar, and as you hold him up, you kind of point over to the side, and you can see there is Rolex standing, looking out with a tiny fairy in his chest. Reyes with a 30 as well. You notice there are several individuals that you recognize from the fifth form who have now dispersed themselves into the actual crowd. They are blending in. They are doing the same kind of thing as the crowd is doing right now. But you see there are several of them in the actual crowd looking around. They don't recognize you, obviously, because you look completely different as far as your disguise. But you notice there are quite a few of them here. You probably see at least 3 or 4 of them off to your left, and another 4 or 5 off to your right.
Are they still damp? Are they dripping?
No, these aren't the same ones in the black cloaks. These are different ones.
Okay.
Since, do any of the ones that I recognize look towards me?
They seem
like do I catch eyes with any of them?
They seem to be focused primarily toward the front, and they're like kind of in groups. So the 3 of them over here are kind of together, and then there's 2 and 2 over here. There's 2 of them off to one side and 2 of them off to another side, and they are again trying to blend in.
Okay. Damn. How stealthily can I cast message?
I mean, with a 30, as far as your perception, you kind of see that most people aren't really paying too much attention to what's going on. They're all focused up there. You probably guess that you could probably cast a spell out in the open, and most people wouldn't care at this moment here, unless it did something dramatic like an explosion or something. But you do see, and again, you do recognize a couple of them that are there. So you recognize one of your fifth form. His contact name is Wheel. He's off to the side over here. You recognize Hangman. He's over off to the left. And then you recognize Death off to that side as well.
Hold on. Sorry. I have some understanding of tarot, and what the actual fuck? Wheel, Hangman, and Death. All in one grouping. Oh.
Yep.
Okay. I would like to cast message directed at Wheel.
Okay. All right. So as you cast message to Wheel, I'm going to go over to Ophidian real quick since he passed you guys and he's now making his way up to the gate as the group is still, kind of broken apart. Ophidian, you're approaching the gate. There is barricades. There are 2 large obsidian soldiers that are standing on opposite sides. There are crowds of people who you have to kind of push and, get your way through to even get up to the front. If you want to go all the way up to the front, what do you want to do?
Yeah, if there's a way in over here, then yes. If not, then we'll try to make another way in.
The front gate is closed, so you estimate Ophidian would have to do some talking to get inside if he wanted to.
Right.
But there's no way to just walk right in right now, especially with, you can see up on the top, there are several guards. All of them have their crossbows and things at the ready. There are 2 large ballistas on top of the gates as well. They're looking down in the crowd. There's no way just to walk right into this place. And it's definitely on high alert. So you'd have to do some talking to get in through the front gate.
Yeah. Okay. But I guess what I'm asking is, even if I do talking, are they going to want to open that front gate anyway? Because that's a risk for people to charge it.
Make a insight check to see if you can maybe discern the intentions, if they would do it.
26.
26. You get the sense that, and again, you just now saw coming from the side door off next to the main gate entry. You saw there were there were a few guards that came out and started to walk through the crowd and push through the crowd with you. You get the sense that you can get in and out there. It's high alert, but if you present yourself as a high nobility kind of individual, you might be able to get inside. But
yeah, so is that side door being watched by somebody then? Does it make sense to make? Okay,
yeah, it's definitely being watched.
All right, yeah, so we'll make our way to that side door then.
Okay. To get to the side door, you have to get through the front barrier of guards first. There are guards here. It's kind of hard to discern on the map because of how big the area is. But there are guards kind of forming a perimeter right here. And as you make your way up, you can see one of the guards, he's got a large shield and he's got a pole arm, and he goes, "Hold it right there. Return to your homes. Again, nothing to see here. Lord Wintermere is not taking any audiences. Get back." He's just yelling out kind of general things, and you can hear there's a hoarseness in his voice because he's been yelling this all day probably. What do you want to say to him?
I want to say this. I am Elise de Belem. I am here to see Lord Phineas, and I have a resolution to one of his problems. He will want to see me as soon as possible.
Can I just drop?
Bold words. We good?
Hello?
He's typing.
Oh, you said, wait a sec. I think as you put the pen in your mouth, I didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Oh. And he's gone.
All right, so we kill everybody and we win.
Aster just stepped away too, so we're dropping like flies, man.
Jeez, I was about to step away too and get a snack.
Look, if y'all didn't want to play with me, you should have just said so.
It's crazy.
Well, praise, you smell.
Let me add Jason back in here. There's Jason.
There you
Sorry about that. I had a weird unstable network connection here message that popped up. My apologies. Ophidian, I lost what you said towards the last part right there. If you could say it again, please.
I have a resolution to one of his problems. He will want to see me directly.
Okay. Make a deception check or persuasion check.
Persuasion. I guess it doesn't matter. They're both the same.
25. With a 25, the guard kind of looks at you and he goes, he looks at least stable. I'm not familiar with you, miss. What problem are you proposing? He seems interested. He seems like you've made some sort of connection for them, but he needs what kind of problem what are you proposing here?
Turn and look at the crowd. All this, I can make this go away.
He goes, that would make my day better. He looks over at some of the other guards, and one of them kind of gives him a little bit of a nod, he's like, All right, very good, very good. This way. He snaps his fingers, and you see two guards like walk up from where the side entrance is, and they bring you over, and they start to bring you into the actual main estate. Okay. The envoy starts to move with you, and you can see the guards kind of like point their weapons towards him and go, "Is he with you?"
Oh yes, he's
They
part
go-
of the solution.
They again with the 25. They seem to be a little more suspicious as he's completely like hooded and cloaked from his demeanor. He's not wearing anywhere near as fine a garb as you are either, but they let you through with a 25.
Mhm.
As you make your way inside, you see there are tons of guards inside of here. It looks much different than the last time Hall of Notes had came in to evaluate things. Okay, you're inside the compound. We go over to Rolex and Ami and Rays and Les, who are still outside. Rays, you're messaging. You said you're messaging Wheel, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what are you saying to them?
Wheel, tower, half elf, blonde hair, next to the cat person.
Mhm.
What's going on?
As
What's going on? No time to report back yet.
Okay. As you say this here, you see Wheel. He turns, and again, Wheel is a rather short-looking. Looks to be half dwarf. Actually, is what Wheel is. Small, like a dwarf, but not as thick or as wide. He looks to be thinner and more like almost a halfling, but definitely taller than a halfling. Probably about 4 feet tall in total. And again, kind of like a 5 o'clock shadow, but still kept together very well. You can see on his cloak. And again, typically the fifth form don't wear their stuff out in public. You can see he does have the symbol of the wheel on his chest as he's looking for you. He turns back and he sees the half elf and he replies back. He goes, "Tower, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be a part of this."
If I feel like I can get away with message again, I'm going to cast it. Otherwise, I'm just going to like flash my journal and make like a walk gesture. Like I have information. I'm going to deliver. That's essentially what that motion would be. But if I feel like I can cast message, I will.
Yeah, you can cast message again.
Okay, yeah. That one's just gonna be got detoured, reporting back. Still don't know where second is. Wound up here.
All he says back to you is, "The cycle is done. Fate is intervening tonight. The first commands it." And then that's all you hear from him.
Oh, it's Cowabunga time.
As you see this here, you do see Rolex and Ami, and we will say that again. Rolex, you do notice that again, because again, coming from the front, you can see the guards have not moved towards the crowd all day, but there is finally a handful of guards making their way to you, and you and Ami both recognize the familiar cat face of Les wearing a guard's uniform, a non-soiled guard's uniform.
As soon as Rolex recognizes Les, he'll kind of double time directly towards him.
I would just softly nod with open eyes, just go with whatever they ask.
Okay.
Ami,
wow. Let's see. How would I interpret that?
Yeah. How would Rolex interpret
I'm guessing
that?
Rolex would probably see that as Les is excited to see him. So he'll wave and say, "Hi, Les."
As you do this and you see Rolex walking towards you and Les eyes wide open, nodding, you can see Sula, the woman. She goes, there they are. They didn't go very far. Les, is it?
Yes, Les.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
You're not expected to know every guard that works for you. So.
Oh, no. As this happens, you guys are all back together. You see Ray's looking off to the side, very, very intently looking off to the side, disguised as a half elf. You're not sure who this person is because he's disguised right now. Ami and Rolex. What do you four want to do?
Guys, we need you. I know that Ami has been working with the plants, and she knows where the flame retardant wood is. So we need to go into the fort. What's it called? Wintermere Estate. To find where it's at. So let's get inside now before we get mobbed.
Are you okay, Les?
I am great. Let's get going, Gardener.
I guess if Les heads that way, Rolex is just going to follow him, not quite understanding what the hell he's talking about. But
Ami,
Okay.
the same thing. Are you just riding along in Rolex's chest then, or?
Oh yeah, Ami's just smiling and nodding.
Okay. As you guys turn and Sula starts leading you back there, she looks back at you, Ami, and she goes, "You're all right, dear. Some of the guards were saying that you looked a little bit frazzled when you were in here today."
Me?
Yes, you.
you had a timeout.
I gave myself a timeout. Yes.
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, is there anything I can do for you, dear?"
Ami just kind of like this is Suli, right?
Yes, Sylvia.
Okay. It's one of the only people that like she really knows. So like she doesn't want to be, like
Yeah.
a jerk to her. She kind of just
Destroy less
Silly.
plants, please.
you know how I feel. You know how I feel about these plants.
I do. Yes, and you've done a wonderful job. The grounds have never looked better since you've been here.
I appreciate that, but
And
she
the
just kind of
bouquet-
gestures around.
And the bouquet that you got for me, I mean, my wife loved it. She absolutely was smitten with the arrangement that you created here.
Oh, I love
so-
you, dearest. She's so sweet.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been a hell of a day for me. But some of the guards inside were saying that you were very agitated.
Yes. After taking a small leave, and she just like she did with the guard earlier, gestures to obviously lacking a ton of what she was normally like wearing, holding, whatever, and basically telling the same story about how she had gotten like robbed, and that Rolex was there to help her. So during that short leave where she had to recover, coming back earlier today and seeing everything just like completely torn out, like she could see where some things had been burned, torn up, just put on top of.
She goes, "Oh, I understand." As she's kind of like clearing people out of the way, you guys are making your way up through the front to the front entrance. She goes, I've heard that in the past 4 or 5 hours they've cut down quite a few more of the trees inside. So again, dear, please just if you if you need anything, just let me know."
She'll kind of like flutter down and like kind of like pat her shoulder, and just as always, I appreciate you endlessly. Be careful out there.
She brings you up to the front gate. Raze, are you moving with them to the front gate?
Absolutely. I've just been given the all clear to ixnay the current political power figures.
Nice.
All right. Okay. Ophidian,
Wildest dream come true.
you make your way inside the thing. And again, as they bring you up to the front of the manor, you can see there are several guards that try to stop you, but the guards that bring you in going, "No, this is Lista Bellum. She is here for Lord Wintermere, has urgent news and potentially has a solution for things." And they kind of give you a pass. You make your way up to the front of this large mansion, the 3-story tall building that is Lord Wintermere's home. The guards kind of walk up and go, "All right, Lord Wintermere has been secluding himself in here for some time, making plans and strategizing. Please wait here for a moment while we go and summon him and get you an audience."
Thank you.
They open the door and they walk inside. Ophidian, as you're standing there looking around, you see coming through the gate your friends. You see a large Warford construct with a fairy. You see a blonde half elf, and then Les, who is dressed up as a guard right now as well, entering in probably about a good couple 100 feet away from you right now. You guys are all in roughly the same area now. Rolex.
Let's split up again.
Raise, Ami. As Ophidian is waiting up at the front door, it's going to take a few minutes to see if he gets a audience or not. What do the four of you want to do?
Were we escorted by I forgot her name already. The
Suli,
female
yes.
guard, Suli. All right. So, Ami, we need you to lead us to the flame retardant trees that you know of. So, could you please lead me and this soldier here, shaking, tapping Ray's on the shoulder, to where we need to go? Plus, bring Gardner Bot with us too.
Gardner Bot.
Yes.
So they're in at this point.
Everyone's in, yes. Everyone's inside.
Okay.
Just call him the botany bot.
She'll kind
Botany
of just
bot.
go with it and like, nod her head at him and say like, yes, of course, absolutely. And she'll turn back to Suli and just say, Suli, dear, you've already done so much for me. I promise I'll come find you if I need anything. And she'll make it a point to mention, be looking out for those fiery things.
Yes,
I can only handle so many of those.
Yes,
like making it a point that she did it.
That was you who did that. Oh my goodness! I thank you for that, dear. Yes, no, we're much more careful with projectiles right now. That's why we have the deterrents up there. And she points up to the ramparts, which have massive ballistas that are lined up and crossbow bolts and things like that. There, she turns around and leaves out the door. And again, as this happens, Les, there is the young guard that was carrying wood prior. He walks up with an axe in his hand, and he has two other guards with him. He goes, yes, I brought more of us here to harvest the flame retardant wood for the barriers and the barricades, sir. Lead the way.
Yes, Ami, please lead us to that wood, please.
Ami's immediately going to interrupt the second she sees the axe, and she's going to go, no. More people and axes are not going to be necessary. You don't understand how this works. If it was a normal tree, that would be one thing. But these need to be handled very, very delicately. And I can't have all of you coming around, especially with, and she'll kind of those.
Well, how are we supposed to get the flame retardant wood to protect the structures around here?
She's a professional.
I grew it.
She knows.
I can clearly harvest things that I've grown. You've seen all the beautiful things I've done with the estate over the time I've been here.
As you put your hand out to reference over there, there's like nothing left over in that area except for a handful of bushes.
That you've so kindly ruined. I would rather you not, something that I've spent so much time on creating, not ruin that as well. Thank you.
They kind of look back and forth and they're like, make me a persuasion check.
I'll make a guilt trip check.
Yeah, can I aid her here?
How do you want to aid her?
Okay, so we've been on the property before. We've seen it in its pristine state.
Yes.
Okay. So as like when she's like, you've seen all the things I've done over years, I want to like interject, like, yeah, I do remember the hydrangeas over there. There was the azaleas. Oh, the poppies. Oh, how could we forget the poppies? They were so beautiful. And just like go on like that. Just yeah,
Okay.
You remember this? The rhino hedge that one summer?
Nice.
Make me a persuasion check with advantage then, Ami.
He started
That was
with a
21.
20.
So
It's a
I
natural
believe
20.
it.
You're
A
welcome.
natural 20. A natural 20 with that. Very good. As they say this here, you see like one of the guards behind him go, yeah, I know. I mean, apparently she's very good with like making bouquets for like people that, you're into and things, And he goes, well, yes, of course. He kind of puts the axe down and goes, however we can be of assistance to you, miss, we will follow your lead. Doesn't seem like they are wanting to chop things down at the moment. So
she'll just kind of tell them, as I told Suli, for now I need my space. And if I need anything, I know how to contact and find Suli, and I will have her get in touch with you if I require any assistance. What is your name, dear, for when I have everything ready?
I'm Brent. This is Paul, and then we have Carter over here. Just let us know what you need, and we'll wait for word from Suli on anything here. We apologize. It's been a stressful day. We've been harvesting a lot of things, and he kind of like shuffles off after you've.
I understand. Seeing my life's work in shambles has also made it a stressful day for me too.
Tough. It's tough.
But yeah, she'll just kind of like encourage them. Be with Suli. I want to make sure she remains safe through this ordeal.
Okay. All right. Where do you guys want to go?
One guard that doesn't leave that Ami doesn't know.
You do see there.
I guess
You would have been next to Les the whole time, so
Yeah.
I
we
tapped you on
haven't
the
been
shoulder too.
reintroduced to
Yeah, the
Reyes.
second that the other guards are out, she'll go, yes, delightful. Les?
Hi, I'm
Ami?
Nelson.
What? Excuse me?
No.
That's Izar Nelson.
That's
Can-
Reyes.
Is that not?
Am I able to like partially drop this disguise self?
You can try.
I don't feel like my Arcana is high enough to pull that off.
Don't
I'd
you just
probably
have like
end up-
whisper? You could just be like, "Hey, it's actually Reyes."
Oh yeah, I'm a ventriloquist. I'm an actor.
You could make me say it then. That
Yeah,
would be
you know what?
better.
Yeah, I'm going to have Ray's voice come out of Rolix's face area.
And
And
you're
it's
saying,
Serious.
I'm raised? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm gonna say is, Ami, it's me, Ray's. I'm in disguise. Call me Nelson.
And you hear this coming out
I'll
of your
just
Rolix's
look at
voice.
Rolex and go, you've been raised the whole. Where's Rolex?
He was never here.
They're just both talking to me through Rolex's face, and I'm just like,
Ophidian, looking back at your friends, you see them freaking out for some reason. As you're waiting at the front.
I'm just
Ami,
holding steady.
Ami, do you Raze, are you trying to clarify that for Ami, or are you going to let her believe what she
I will.
believes?
After having my laugh, I'll just kind of like drop character, but not like my spell, and just be like, Ami, no, me, the one weirdo here.
The one true Reyes.
One true weirdo.
she'll just, why didn't you just, never mind.
The only demon skin you know.
And then she'll turn immediately back to Let. Flame retardant wood.
It's the best thing I could think of at the time.
Pretty ingenious, honestly.
All right. We can do something.
We don't need to do anything. We just needed to get in here so we can get in there
Where is he pointing?
to the inside the estate.
Ah, is that the plan?
We
Like
need to get to that
inside,
second
inside.
floor where the lights are off that I've
Oh.
seen.
Is that where the wood is?
Well, we'll be doing
Les
some
already found
chopping.
his wood.
Oh,
So are you guys making your way up to the front of the manor then?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. You guys make your way up, and there is already two people standing in front with a handful of guards. As you make your way up, you can see one of the guards who's standing watch by the door, looks over at you, Les, and Raze, and goes, "Soldiers, what are you doing over here? Why aren't you
Ami's
at your post?"
immediately going to interrupt and say, "You can take it up with Suli. They are here with me."
And he looks at you and he goes, "Suli does not. I do not answer to Suli. What is your purpose here?"
If I have to explain this one more time.
Ami is the gardener. She has written down where every location is for things that we need. We need the flame retardant wood. It is on a manifest. She doesn't exactly know where its placement is because she hasn't dealt with it. It's usually self-sustaining. So we need to go inside and get to her ledger. She left it inside her quarters that are inside there. Maybe it's not her quarters, but she uses it from time to time.
He looks at you and he goes, "There is no workers that reside inside Lord Wintermere's actual estate.
Have you not
Workers.
seen the flowers inside the estate? Have you not seen any of the bushes or any of the rose decorations, anything that's in there to pretty up the place? That has been all Ami and Gardner bought, and they have done an excellent job. I've seen it myself. I work here, obviously, so of course I've been there. I've seen it. Just let us in. This is not a time. They need the manifest so we can get these barricades up so that we can get this place flame retardant. Let us in."
Ophidian, you hear this from Les, and you recognize it is Les who is saying this. You see the envoy. He's like looking out from his cowl, like from his hood, and just kind of like cocking his head slightly. What's happening?
He's just doing that.
Oh, I can't hear you, Ophidian.
Chris, you're muted.
Yeah, I got it.
Ami is gonna. Are you good?
Yeah, go for it.
Ami's gonna kind of like take a deep breath and explain to him that at the very least, if you're not going to respect my status here, respect that I'm the one who just saved your estate from being burned down by those cocktails.
Okay, Ophidian, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm ignoring the group here. I just
Okay.
They're just a bunch of pile of guards
Yeah.
and the gardeners, right?
Yep. Okay.
These are the important people, though. I mean, he hit, what was it? The robotanist.
All right.
The
So
robot.
I would say, Les, make me an intimidation check, and let's see if you can make. I would say make it with advantage since Ami did just add in that right there. So go ahead, Les.
And this one needs to talk to Lord Wintermere. I roll twice. Best I got was 18.
18. And 18, he stops and he goes, God, I know that it has been a trying time here, but need I remind you of decorum for soldiers? He's like, you will watch your tone with me, but I will see if we can get you inside. Wait here. As this happens, the door kind of opens, and the guard like turns his head and walks up to the door and listens in. He points over at you, Ophidian, and he just kind of gives you a little bit of a wave in. Are you going inside?
Of course.
Okay. You make your way inside, and again, the first level, it is absolutely opulent in here. There is just the display of finery and things. And again, Ophidian, for someone who likes the high life, this is probably the most decadent
I'm
lifestyle.
coming in my pants right now. This is great. And Ophidian's like, I don't ever want to leave.
Yeah. Yep.
Soiling his guard's uniform.
Oh yeah, I totally am.
Yeah, you can see that there is a well-dressed individual standing before you. He looks to be like the butler of the house, and he goes, "Good evening, Miss de Bellum. Is it?"
That is correct.
I have not seen you before here on our premise, but we have record of you attending some parties and some galas and events here. Welcome to the estate. We apologize for the affairs that are taking place outside, but Lord Wintermere would like to speak with you as far as what you might offer in terms of solutions for this.
Of course.
particular issue. Who is this individual? He points over to the envoy.
This is part of the solution to that said problem.
I see. Well, you will again, of course, present yourself with decorum. And of course, here, if anything is seen as a threat in this time here, you and your solution will be handled as such. Is that understood?
Of course. I wouldn't have it any other way.
There are several guards inside, and you can see clink, clink, coming down the hallway. There is another obsidian soldier that is making his way up through the hallway into the actual grand atrium area that you guys are in. And as he is, the butler kind of goes, please follow the soldiers into the next room here. I have something that I must address with the gardeners outside. And he goes over to the door, opens it up, and again summons the four of you up into the actual room. Ophidian, as you make your way down the hallway, going past paintings that are probably worth more than your current house is inside the city. You're going past exquisite statues and busts from years and years past as you make your way down into this room. As you get to the hallway and turn the corner towards what looks to be the grandest solid gold double doors that you've ever seen, you hear footsteps of your companions entering into the front of the house.
Am I still able to see them from where I'm at?
Yeah, as you turn the corner and look back, you can see them all coming in.
Do they see me looking at them?
Yeah, I would say they would definitely notice you looking. They don't obviously know who you are, but they would notice you looking back at them. Is there anything you wanted to do?
If Raze is looking at me, I want to wink and blow a kiss.
Okay. Raze, make a perception check as you make your way inside the house.
You got it, boss. Oh no, that's performance. There we go. Perception. 27.
Yeah, you see this very regal and upstanding noble woman turn and give you a little wink, and that there.
I don't suppose this perception check was high enough to see through the disguise.
No, it wouldn't be. I would say
Okay.
high enough to see through the disguise as well. Actually, a 27. A 27. I think you probably notice that some of the
not using
skin-
disguise self. I'm using just
it's a
disguise
disguise
skills. Yeah.
Yeah. I think with a 27 with the wink, you would notice that the contact lens that is in this woman's eyes slips just slightly as it opens back up, and you recognize the same colored hue of Ophidian's eye in there with a 27. That's a very high check. 27.
Before they turn away, I'm gonna like it's to anybody who's like just glancing at me, it's gonna look like I'm just like rubbing my eye, like getting like an eyelash stuck. But I think Ophidian would understand that, like, hey, contact.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
as
I'll
Ophidian-
wink back.
Yeah, as Ophidian's eye blinks, the contact slipped down, but it went back up as it did. So it kind of just moved just slightly enough. It was imperceptible to most people, but Raze with a 27.
Watch
You
that
get that
contact,
there.
it's loose.
Okay.
Love you too, babe.
Ami, you see the butler inside. You're familiar with this butler. His name is Gerard, and he is like, Miss Amanita, it is a pleasure to see you again here. I was not aware that gardening services were on today. The gods tell me that there is something about a manifest here that you need. I'm not familiar with you leaving a manifest inside the main house.
She'll kind of like give him like a little polite bow and kind of just exchange like small pleasantries and whatever. And she'll explain to him, yes, I didn't know I would be on for today either, but after the incident, she'll refer to her, self again, just assuming that word's gone around. They've told me about the situation, and when I had come back into town, I had seen the dire situation. I mean, with the city too, but with my plants. And they've asked me to offer as much as I can in the way of protection. So I don't know if you remember a while back when I first started on, there were a few things I had stored in here. Some things that I had hoped that I wouldn't have to use later on, but now it seems it's the time.
He looks and he goes, well, again, I don't remember you ever leaving anything inside here, but we can go and take a look if it's quick. Again, there are quite a few high moving parts going on inside the house today, and again, it's not safe necessarily to be in here right now, so please. And he turns and he starts to walk you through the hallways, and you guys all are making your way down the hallways towards where Ophidian was. But as Ophidian, you go through these grand double doors and you walk inside, you can see sitting on a high-backed regal chair with a massive table in front of him, looking like it's like a war table, with Garthok, the woman, his right-hand person, who I don't think you guys ever got the name of, so I won't say her name yet. She is standing there. She's still, you can recognize the same rapier that she used to stab Annette sitting on her hilt. You can see that there are several dark areas in this room here. The only light that seems to be coming down is right over the table itself.
Is it magical darkness, or can I see with infravision?
As you look around, you can't seem to penetrate the darkness that is in the corners of the rooms. So it seems to be magical darkness at the moment. And as you make your way inside, there are also several other guards with you. And there's that large obsidian guard that kind of like squishes himself down slightly and pushes his way through the door. You guys on the outside, you guys see this happening. Raise, you see Ophidian going into a room, and you can see looking through, there's Lord Windermere and all of his cronies inside there, and the door starts to close as Ophidian is in there by himself.
Now, Raise.
Ophidian, you see Lord Windermere. He looks up, his eyes look bloodshot, and his skin tone looks much paler than it has been before. His hands look a little bit more weathered as he looks up from this table. And as he looks up at you, he goes, Miss DeBellum, I'm sorry for the chaos outside. I assume you are aware of what's going on in this city. My butler here said that you might have a resolution for us.
And I wave my hand at the envoy.
Okay.
Perhaps this gentleman can present a solution you find suitable.
The envoy starts to slither up towards the actual thing, moving, not slithering like as far as you can see him, like wiggling like a snake, but the way he moves is not in a straight line. It kind of is moving.
Right,
Like that's how he kind of walks. That's kind of just how he moves back and forth. He makes his way up, and as he makes his way up, Garthok has his hand on his blade, and several of the guards around him do as well. And he walks forward, and he goes, Lord Windermere, it is a pleasure to see you. We have a solution that can quell this nasty situation that you are in, as long as you are willing to acquiesce to us, make some concessions. And you can see Lord Windermere, he kind of puts his hand on the table and he goes, is that some sort of threat? I would tread carefully. And as he does, you see him reach into his cloak, and he puts down several of the things, the images that you were able to still procure. And as they slide out on the table, you can see Phineas look down at them, and he looks over at Garthok. Garthok looks at the woman and looks back. As this happens, a moment of silence occurs. Raise, Les, Ami, Rolex. The door closes. The butler is walking forward. Ami, I believe that you were tending to some of the things inside of the kitchen here, some of the herbs and the garden, the last place that you were at. This way. And he's like leading you deeper into the house. What are the four of you wanting to do?
Oh, what's going on in here, Butler?
In where?
In this room. That seemed very strange. A visitor at this time?
He goes, I do not pretend to understand Lord Windermere's agenda or his schedule. If somebody is in there, I'm sure it is of utmost importance.
I would like to cast suggestion on the head butler.
Sure.
The
What do you want to suggest?
Suggestion is going to be perhaps it's... Oh, sorry. I'm Nelson right now. Maybe it's best if we take two different directions here. Oh, God. You, sir, are clearly well-versed in the layout of the manor. You can get to wherever you need to quickly. So anywhere you think it's likely to be, you can get to it. And then Ami here, well, she's the one who left it, so maybe just walking around with her will jog her memory. Of course, myself and... Was it Stupid Cat or was it Les? What did you want me to call you?
Les is fine.
Les and myself can, of course, keep the both of them safe. And, of course, with your blessing, we can tell any other guards we have the butler's blessing, we're searching for the manifest, etc. Just to cover more ground, get everybody out of here more quickly, as I don't think that the Lord would very much appreciate having workers in the house while he's tending to important business, especially right now.
Okay. So you cast suggestion. We will roll for this butler and see if it works. Let's see here.
DC 17.
That is a 16 on the roll.
Woohoo! Nice.
And because he is a commoner, he does not have a bonus. So with that, he goes, that actually makes quite a bit of sense, God. I believe that is the correct solution for this. Please, again, don't disrupt anything. Stay off the second floor,
Of course.
as is told, and let yourself out through the servants' entrance in the back. Ami, you know where that is.
Of course.
He turns and he gives a little bit of a bow. And he walks off to do his own.
Bow right back.
You guys are alone inside the house. Again, it's quiet in here. You do hear guards wandering around some hallways, but in the area that you're at right now, you're inside this like junction where you're in a big hallway that leads up. There's one that leads upstairs, which again, you can see at the top of the stairs, there's a couple of guards that are standing there. There is the kitchen. There is a few other rooms that lead down this way. And then there's the way to the back of the actual manor off to the side. Where do the four of you want to go and what do you want to do?
So where is the wood?
There is no wood, Rolex. This is all a ploy to get us inside the estate to get you all with us. And the goal was for me initially to get revenge on Antiva, but this is even better of an opportunity. Do you guys want to charge in, or should we just wait and see what happens?
No, don't charge in.
No?
No.
Okay.
Phineas's greatest guards are going to be in that room. We have no idea who those two guests are. Spoiler alert, one of them's Ophidian.
Does he actually say that out loud?
Yes.
And Rolex will point a finger at the thing that is Ray's. Who are you?
I'm Ray's Rolex.
Prove it.
Did you get a haircut?
No.
He's in disguise. It is him.
Rolex, just prove it. No. Anyways.
Okay.
All right, you know what? You know what? Fine. Hey, you remember that moment in the back room when Ami died? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Ray.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
That spell bought us maybe like 5 minutes. Head butler is going to know every secret passage through this place. He's going to know every way possible to track us down. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast. We need to do it carefully.
Do we want to back up Ophidian, or do we want to go upstairs and see what's going on with the lights off?
I have a very sneaking suspicion that Ophidian has everything handled, and we're not going to like it regardless, but walking in is a death sentence right now.
I'm not going in either way.
All right.
I think our best bet is trying to get to the second floor.
Let's go see what's going on with that, because I'm betting. Well, I'm not going to say what I bet. Let's just go.
There are two guards at the second floor entrance as you're leading right up there. So how do you guys want to do that? As you guys are making your way through the hallways and stuff like that, you make your way up to the staircase. You can see there's two guards standing at attention, looking down at you all. As they see you, Les and Rays, they go, "What's going on this?"
Early shift change. They need more people at the barricade. You guys have been here for a while, so you guys need to go.
They look at each other and they go, "We were told to remain here for the entirety of the night."
How long have you been here?
When's the last time you looked
2 hours.
Well, you guys need to go at least get to the bathroom, because we need to cycle out. We need to make sure this place is protected. And if you're have a full bladder or whatever's going on with you, it's not going to work. This is orders from, I say, what's her face's name? Sophia?
Sula.
Yeah, Sula.
Make me a deception check or a persuasion check.
By the time this is over, Les is going to start a guards union where they have to take mandatory breaks every 3
Eli.
hours.
Let's try deception.
A 14.
14. I guess I'll try luck and see if I get any better. My last luck point. That's worse. I'll stick with a 14, I guess. I think I can choose.
Eli.
Yeah. As you say this here, the guards kind of look at you and go, "Well, we were told very, very strictly to, again, not leave, which is why we have these." And they point behind them. There's like buckets behind them, and you can see they've used that for the bathroom. And they go,
Oh.
so we're okay as far as bladders right now.
That is disgusting. You need to get this is a place of prestigious material. You cannot have buckets of that here. You need to go. Take that outside.
Like you're a cat.
Is anyone wanting to help him with this? Because the guards are
Okay,
standing
okay.
there.
I know the angle here. All right, so
Yeah, this is all
they're
right.
more confused than like pushing back,
Suspicious or
right?
anything?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm okay. I'm gonna play up the Union angle. You're really just gonna let them treat you like this? Look, I don't get me wrong. It's a good job. It's why I took it. But like, you're shitting in a bucket at the bottom of the stairs.
Well, we only use it for P. We haven't done number 2 in there. I mean, it's but
Time will tell.
The whole night. And I'm gonna look him in the eye and like press forward the whole night.
they look at each other. Well, we did have tacos and burritos today. Yes, I know it might be raw. Raise, make me a persuasion check.
Oh God.
I want to help.
How do you want to help? What do you want to do?
She'll talk about, having been working here for a while too, and just basically now, now that he mentions it, now that I think of it, they've done some pretty wild things around here to their employees, and I know how hard everybody here works.
Okay. All right. Roll with advantage then, Raise.
Oh, 17.
17. A 17. They look at each other and they go, you can see that it's making sense to them. You're keying in on the working man kind of ploy, but as you say this to them, they look and they go, yes, I mean, it would be nice to have more breaks. Yeah, I know, it would be nice. Yeah. Also some sick time, I guess. Yeah, that'd be also very nice too here. Our day is typically 12 hours. I mean, I think an 8-hour work day probably would be better. I think maybe less, maybe a 6-hour, 4-day work week. I think that works too. They're talking, but they're not seemingly moving yet as they are conversing back and forth, and they're going, yes, but Lord Garthok and Lord Wintermere are quite
Look,
scary.
he's not going to know if you go to the bathroom for 10 minutes. We'll watch for you. We're here. We'll watch, okay? We're just doing our rounds.
I'm also gonna like lean in a little bit. Like, look, you didn't hear it from me, but Garthok and I always forget her name. I'm kind of too.
You guys never found out her. You guys never found out her name, so you're fine.
I don't remember her
Garthok,
name.
Diana
I'm
person.
honestly like too terrified of her to learn any details. But like, they're both with Lord Phineas right now, speaking with some envoy. Like, and it sounds heated. We just like passed by the room, but like, y'all have a few minutes.
Okay. Les and Randy, either one of you make me another persuasion roll, or one of you make it with advantage.
Les and Rand.
Or I'm sorry, Les and Raise. Sorry, I saw the R and I immediately went to Randy. Les and Raise, either both of you make me persuasion checks, or one of you make it with advantage.
I have a +6 persuasion. You want to both?
Mine's only a +2, so
Were you trying to convince them to go to the bathroom? Was that
Yes, that's what this has become.
Can Rolex play the sound effect of water dripping?
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean that
That
still
can
gives you
help.
advantage. Yeah, that'll give you a better. It'll lower the DC a little bit as well. So go ahead, Raise or
I'm just doing
I'll
advantage.
let Ray's roll with advantage.
okay. With a 22, you can see them start to dance around a little bit, and they go, "Yeah, and I shouldn't have drank so much. I think the bucket's kind of full too. Yeah, I know. Let's go dump these out, and yes, if you won't mind watching the level here, they pick up the buckets and they kind of like teeter down the stairs, trying not to slosh it over. I'm going to roll to see if they start to talk about unionizing here. Let's just see if they make a union roll. Yeah, they're probably not going to make a union roll because again, maybe a little bit too terrified.
We didn't need them to. Their business is going under soon, anyways.
Okay, you make your way up to the top of the stairs, and as you look up, you can see the doorway that leads up to the front, up to the second level, is shut, and it is completely dark behind it. What do you guys want to do?
Firstly, I want to cast Major Image and make it look like Nelson and Les are standing guard.
You mean
Absolutely.
less than Randy?
Yes,
Yeah,
less than
let's-
Randy. Make sure that they're both standing guard there, because
Okay.
we did say we would stand guard for them.
Okay.
We just
that's-
didn't say whether or not we'd be corporeal or not.
Right. That's that spell slot used. It is concentration, so I do have
Yep.
to remember that. And I have it for 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So who's opening the door? Going upstairs.
I'll go ahead and open the door.
Les, you open the door, and I believe everyone has dark vision. Rolex, you have dark vision, I believe.
I had something that helped me see in the dark, but I don't think I literally had dark vision. Let me
Okay.
I'll just confirm it, but go ahead.
Yeah, whoever has dark vision, as you open up the door, again, you see shades of gray all throughout. And as you do, I need you guys to make me a perception check. If you don't have dark vision, make the perception check with disadvantage, please.
22.
23.
I need to see if I have dark vision. I think I do.
Ami, yeah, Ami doesn't
I don't
see
think I
anything.
have.
All right, so I'll just do you said it's perception?
Mhm.
Okay. 10. That's actually my best roll so far, even with disadvantage. 10. Woohoo!
All right. So, as you guys enter in, Ami and Rolex, you really don't see anything.
Yeah,
But
I have dark vision. 60 feet.
But Les and Rays, as you enter in the second level, it is one massive room. It is not a series of rooms and things like you would normally expect to have in a manor. It is just one big room, and there is a odd smell in the room, a smell of decay and a smell of kind of almost what smells like bleach or formaldehyde inside of here. And as you are looking through the room, you can see there looks to be something that is just massive. It looks to be maybe a giant piece of wall or furniture. It goes for about 20 feet in each direction. What would you guys like to do?
I just wander into the room further, see what I can see.
Okay.
So-
As you make your way up the side of this here, and you're making your way up, and you're following along this massive, structure. Again, you can't really tell what it is because it is dark, and you're seeing in shades of gray. You move up, and you're walking down, and as you're walking down, you pass by the end of it. And as you pass by the end of it, you notice that it curves, and it continues on downwards, and it moves over to what appears to be some sort of large circular smooth kind of what's the right word? Circular smooth kind of surface. And as you're standing there looking at it, kind of cocking your head, you feel the room kind of shake a little bit. And where's everybody else right now? Is everyone following Les? Are you guys all in the same area, or did some of you stay back? Or
Rolex will definitely be following Les. I'd say within the first few moments of it being dark, would grab a piece of his armor and infuse it with 5-foot radius light, something that allows him to see, to be able to follow Les. I know it's not going to light up a lot, but enough for him to see and follow.
Okay, I love it.
Rays would have stayed back so he can keep an eye on the illusion. And just like every so often, just make it scratch his nose, adjust his armor, just stuff like that to make it look alive.
All right, Ami.
Gonna stay with Rolex.
Okay, Ami. As the light turns on, and you guys can finally see something, Rays is right behind you. So I'm going to say that Rays is at the door. Ami and Rolex have just stepped in the room a little bit, and then Les started making his way down the side of this thing. Rolex, as you turn the lights on, you can see that it looks to be a giant bone that you're looking at.
Bone.
And as the light goes on, Les, you can see like the light behind you down a ways. It starts to flicker on, and as you turn back to look back, you can hear this round structure just kind of. It starts to turn, and as it turns, you see two hollow eye sockets that start to glow slightly. and you're looking into a giant skull at the moment.
Oh, geez.
Can I do any kind of like nature check since I can kind of see it now?
Sure, make a nature check.
Definitely some sort of supernatural skull. That's way too large for
Mm-hmm.
a normal thing. And Rolex is a little versed in nature to be able to guess that. But yeah. Go.
How much of it is it in view from Ray's perspective?
It takes up the majority of the room.
Like-
So
Like the light from Rolex doesn't like show me anything new, anything that might
because it's only
tell me
5
anything.
feet,
Right.
it doesn't really expand too much
Yeah.
on that here.
I think of it like a candle. It's about
Yeah.
without the flicker. It's like a small amount of light.
And
Yeah.
that's 5 extra feet that I couldn't see before.
Yep.
Me too. Yeah.
Ami, with an 18, you remember again back inside the underground, there was a massive beating heart of some sort of ancient creature that they were using and converting these bodies into power. You remember that the underground city, there were tales of giants and things that used to roam the lands. You get the sense that this is some sort of corpse of one of those things.
So like humanoid, but giant.
Oh yeah, giant.
Yeah,
Yes.
like the story of the Titan that we remembered.
Yes. As you guys are up there, Ophidian, down below, the envoy starts to make his case, starts to say that it is time for a new regime, one that can bring more stability. We would still, of course, let you keep your seat and your public image, but you would report to us, and we can make these things go. We can provide to you the thing that you lost to satiate the masses. You hear him going on, and you can see, make a perception check, and let's see if you can determine what the body language is or the feel of things are right now.
24.
Yeah, Ophidian, you get the sense that you see Lord Wintermere. He looks weathered. He looks definitely like he's aged since you saw him not but a few days ago underground. He's starting to look more like Scythia was. Sunken in kind of complexion, things like that. And you can see Garthok and the woman tightly gripping their weapons, and they're kind of giving each other sideways glances. And with a 24, looking off into the dark shadowed corners that you really can't see through, which is a little unnerving for you, you see what you believe to be a pair of eyes in one of the corners, just kind of like open and close quickly. What do you want to do?
Your time is running out, Phineas. I pray you don't make the wrong decision, because there's a wave that's going to wash over and cleanse this whole city if you make the wrong one. There are many factions already within your estate, within this building right now. And this probably wouldn't have happened if one of your colleagues had taken care of business like she should have. And I'm looking right at the chick with the rapier.
Mm-hmm.
Annette Devia is still alive. And if I don't call her soon, the shit is going to hit the proverbial fan.
Make me an intimidation roll or a persuasion roll, however you want to.
I like
Do it.
persuasion.
Can
You
I give
didn't
him a
mention
bardic
that you had-
inspiration just because I like that speech?
Nice.
24.
A 24. Okay. With a 24, he looks over at Garthok and the woman and he goes, yes, it does seem that there are more loose ends than I would have liked to have. He looks over at you, Ophidian, and he goes, you seem to be very talented, Miss DeBellum. He walks past the envoy who is at the table and he moves towards you. Is there anything that you're doing?
Wishing
I'm
he
just,
brought his robotness with him. That's
yeah,
what it is.
I'm just preparing myself. I'm not gonna like just have my arms crossed. I'm preparing that I can make an attack.
Okay. He starts to walk over and he goes, I'm familiar with, he points over at the envoy, these creatures. I haven't seen them slither out from the depths in many years. My question is to you. Obviously, you're very gifted and talented to have their ear. What are they offering you?
Why you think you have something I want?
He smiles and he goes,
You think I already haven't had what you have right now?
if you have what I have right now, you wouldn't be here with these demands.
These aren't demands. These are statements that you must follow.
Okay. As you say this here, you hear above you hear like the top floor start to kind of shake and shimmy slightly.
Well,
You're
what
not sure.
floor? Oh, we're still on the first floor, right?
You're on the first floor. Your group's on the second floor right above you.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. He looks
We
up
are
at
raising the roof.
He looks up at the second floor, and then he looks back down and he goes, well, Annette Nevia is still alive. And now we have these serpent people who are coming in and trying to take everything that my family has claimed. Maybe my time has come, finally. He starts to walk back towards the table. Is there anything that you would like to say before I make a roll to see what his response is?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna roll once here real quick. Oh, okay.
You're not rolling that well tonight, Jason.
It's not meant to be well. It's meant to be.
He's caving like a house of cards.
It's not meant to be well. As he turns over to the envoy and goes, very well. What will you do to quell the masses of people, solve our power problem? I'm using all that I have left to keep certain things in play. They will run out soon, though, and the city will be plunged into darkness. Even you, I believe, will not have an answer to the madness that comes with that. The envoy moves over to the table, and he kind of moves over towards him, and he goes, do you think that is the only source of Titan heart that is available in the depths? Phineas turns his head and is very much intrigued at this. As this happens, the skull head turns towards you, and as it does, it's Rolex and Ami and Rays. You see the arm start to move and start to like turn and try to reach towards where Les is at currently.
So there's an arm trying to grab Les.
Yes.
Rolex would definitely seek to interfere with this thing happening.
Okay.
I can't see the arm coming, can I?
How would you want to interfere?
Get between it and Les and just, try and use force to hold it back.
Okay, make me a strength athletics check then to see if you can hold it back.
Not necessarily going to be good at that, but I will indeed roll it.
Unless you have a different way you want to roll it.
I know, because that's his approach. It's straightforward. I guess the only thing is maybe he could use his size as much as his strength.
Okay.
Because he's heavier than he is strong.
Okay.
So I got a 7 with athletics, which is par with all of my rolls this evening.
As the hand grabs onto you and you try to like hold on to it, you are heavy. And as you are heavy, you feel the weight of the wood on the floor.
Nice.
And as this happens, Rolex, you fall through, holding on to the arm into the chamber, and Ophidian, you just see Rolex land on the table. Rolex, you take. Let's see here.
Not going to get away with the I was never here this time. Damn
You
it.
take 10 points of fall damage as you slam into them. There's a big bone hand in front of you. With
Quite
that,
the entrance.
Les, Aster, Ami, Ami, Les, and Raze.
Damn, I was never here.
Yeah, you were never here. You see outside through some of the cracks inside of the shuttered windows, you see what looks like large pyrotechnics going off. And you can hear a massive swell of yelling and screaming. You can hear guards yelling, fire, do this, do this. It seems like shit's hitting the fan right now. So, because we are on our final game tonight, we are going to do a group roll to see how things wrap up, since we will not be able to do a full combat or things like that here. So, what I want from each of you is how you would approach what's happening, and then we will roll collectively to see what the resolution will be. So, as the crowd outside starts to riot and you hear explosions going off, Rolex is on the ground inside this throne room with Lord Phineas, with the envoy, with a bones giant skeleton hand. What do you guys want to do? How would you guys attack this? Or you guys, and again, you don't have to go into combat. You guys can choose other options. I just want to know what it is. That way I can wrap up things on my end.
I'll mention mine first in case it helps with either Les or Ami, but Rolex would go into that protect mode to try and make sure that the people that he cares for are going to be safe through this, because he's going to follow somebody else's lead anyway. So rather than worry about necessarily what he's doing, what the idea is that through the end of this, Rolex would seek to support Les, and then if possible, Ami as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Ami?
So Ami would basically just kind of like completely, now that we know what's in there and like what's the worst that could happen now if we make ourselves known, there's a giant Titan skeleton in here. She's going to light up the whole room and do her best to figure out, both just with her knowledge of like nature, life and death, basically being a necromancer, what or who is controlling this, and basically try to gain control of it.
Okay. Trying to gain control of the creature. I love it. Les?
Les is going to take the javelin that he has been carrying around for a little bit since the underground, throw it at the skull, turn around, jump down to go help his buddy who he's been traveling with for a long time now. The room that he fell into, was that the room with the conference and everyone that was in there?
That was the throne room, yep.
So Les will rip off his Wintermere garb and revealing his half plate that he's been wearing this whole entire campaign, and go into defensive mode with Rolex and fight whoever chooses to attack.
All right, Raze, what are you doing?
Ooh. Okay, this is a frick frack snickety snack. All right, so it looks like everybody's just piling into the one small room, right?
That's what
Ami's staying on the second floor.
Ami's on the second floor.
That's actually probably good. Because what Raze is going to do is he's going to shut his alarms up, and then he's going to he wants, his end goal here is to, no matter what, ensure that Phineas Wintermere dies. That is his only goal right now. He has just been told the Boogaloo has started, and we're starting from the top.
You're not going to have a rumble without me.
Speaking of rumble, his intentions here are, once everybody's down in the room, synaptic static to do as much damage in one spell as he can, and hopefully confuse people. Give them a little debuff as a treat.
As a treat.
As a treat.
If I've got time, Earth Tremor, then back up and see who's left.
Okay. Ophidian, what about you? What are you doing?
I guess it depends. It's going to depend on what Phineas, if he thinks he's going to be agreeable to the blackmail, I guess, or the offer, right? The offer to work for the UNT. But if I notice that Ray's is trying to assassinate him, I need to like get in his way for that.
So you're gonna get in Ray's way.
If I see him trying to make a move, I just kind of like give him like just wait.
Okay.
You
All
know,
right. So
whether I gotta put a blade to his neck or not, just kind of like hold up first,
okay, he's upstairs. You're downstairs right now, and again, he just.
Oh, yeah, I thought he was coming. I thought he was down already.
No. He's staying upstairs, I believe. Right, Rays?
Yep.
Yeah, he's trying to.
Well, then that's fine. Yeah, I won't even notice that. Then I did want to challenge the female of unnamed to a. Does she want a shot at the title? Because
Okay.
I don't like that she tried to kill one of my.
All right. Rolex, what would you like to roll for your situation?
Definitely intelligence, because that's the thing he's actually good at, is being smart, oddly enough, but it's an analytic smart, not necessarily people smart. So really it would be, I'm looking at intelligence. I don't think investigation fits, but at least an intelligence role where the idea is to make sure that he's going to position himself, like I was saying, in a way to try and defend people. And whenever Ray's flashbang goes off, I'm assuming Rolex is going to be in range at the time, but
Okay.
probably being aware for something like that to happen as well.
I would say then make a intelligence saving throw, because you're trying to save the people you're trying
There
to
you
put
go.
yourself in
I like
position.
that.
So we'll make an intelligence saving throw.
24. That's like all my rolls so far tonight added up.
There you go. Les, what are you wanting to roll to resolve yours?
If everyone's making a move on them immediately, then would that be the case? They're immediately charging at us, or how it?
If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Yes.
If they're charging at us, then I'd do an athletics to quickly get to as many people as I can and knock them back to
Okay.
make room for whoever's trying to do what towards Lord Wintermere or whatever.
Okay.
So
Then make me an athletics check, then, please.
25.
You had to
25.
one up me. I finally got
Had
a
to one up.
24 and you get a 25.
Ami, you're looking over this creature, this undead skeleton of this creature here. Growing up where you were at, and again, now that your patron is, the goddess of death, you definitely have the ability to try to figure this out. What do you want to roll, though, however, in order to see what you can do?
I'm glad you brought her up, because I was also going to bring her up. So normally for this, I would do like a nature or a medicine. I think I want to kind of get a little bit more of an advantage of it by trying to involve Shar, by like letting her know, like, if you give me the strength and the power and aid me in taking control of this, this is going to be another thing that I can use for you.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that's something that your deity would absolutely do. So make me a religion check with advantage then, because you're reaching out through your spiritual means to get to her. 24. And okay, we'll take a 24. Take a 24 for sure. All right. Raise. You're going to go ham on this person. You hear familiar explosions. You hear things that are the familiar sounds of the fifth form using its sabotage technique. Same thing with like the train when things blew on the train and other things like that. You are familiar with these things. You recognize that shit's hitting the fan, and you are going to start, laying waste into the people inside that room. What roll did you want to make to do that?
I want to make an insight roll to get the timing for this perfect. I
Okay.
need to maximize damage and ensure I need to get as many people in that synaptic static as possible, so when everybody's closest together, and then I need at least my target to stay in one spot for earth tremor, so I need to time both of these spells perfectly. So I want to use insight to do that.
Go ahead and
To
roll me an
gauge
insight.
where people are going.
Go ahead and roll me insight, please.
There it is. 25. And I just want to say, yeah, I knew things were going to go down. When Wheel, Death, and the Hanged Man showed up, those are the three tarot symbols of change.
Yep.
Everything's
Ophidian,
going out the window.
with your insight as well, you put yourself in a position where you can attack
Me.
without really being seen from above. Because again, all the chaos is happening right. So Ophidian, unfortunately, you wouldn't see Ray's preparing to bombard these people
right.
here.
That's what I
So,
figured.
yeah.
Yep.
But what do you want to roll to resolve your issue?
I guess it depends, right? I guess part of it's like, okay, is Phineas going to take the offer, and then part of me wants to fight the chick just because. But so I guess it depends what you want me to roll on. Like the Phineas thing's more important to me, you know.
Okay, so if anything is more important to you here, you would see Phineas again contemplating the offer, but partway through gets lambasted by magic, and you can see him getting hurt very badly. At this time, the female would then pull out her weapon. So I would say you'd have to probably resolve her first because she is going to try to protect him once things start going down. And if you want to give her a shot at the title, we can resolve that one first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like, yeah. So am I making an attack roll, or you know?
Let's see here. Let's make a persuasion roll because you're persuading her to take a shot at you first before anything else.
That's true.
And then how are you doing? Are you dropping are you taking off the disguise and doing it, or are you just challenging?
Oh no, I got to keep up I got to keep up my
okay. Just want to
my street cred if I do duels and win all the time. You know.
28. Nice.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and resolve all this here. So you guys absolutely rolled like freaking champions here. Even your first roll, Ami, was a 24. We had a 24, 25, a 24, 25, and a 28.
Gotta go out with a bang.
That is going out with a bang.
Big bang.
As Les drops down with Rolex here, and again, Garthok pulls out his blade. The envoy scurries back into the shadows slightly. Through the shadows, you see Antifia Siva walk out from the shadows, again, looking the same kind of gnarly visage that it is. Les and Rolex start to, again, go into that mode of attack, and as this happens, Rays, you see Sifia walk out. You know that this is your chance to get everybody in this particular spot with your magic, and you lay waste to them. You see Phineas get hit by these things and Sifia, and Phineas kind of grabs an amulet that's underneath his garb, and he pulls it out, and he starts to chant something into it. As he does, the bone skeleton starts to look down into the thing and starts to try to grab at Les and Rolex, who are fighting and engaging with Garthok and with Sifia. It's that point that Ami, chanting and again invoking her new patron, this is happening at night. A massive beam from the moon shoots down and crashes through the third floor, through the second floor, and it spikes right into the skull of this creature. Ami flies over and flies into the socket of the eye inside the light, and Ami starts to manipulate and control this creature. She uses it to destroy, with Rolex and with Les, Garthok, the other guards. There are obsidian guards that are inside the room, the mechanical things. They get absolutely smashed by the heavy bone fists of this creature here. And Ophidian, as this goes on, the woman, she's trying to, again, figure out how to protect Phineas. She sees you just, again, beckon her over, and she pulls out her rapier. What weapon are you using to fight?
A rapier. A rapier.
A rapier. Okay. How do you want to finish off this woman? Because with what you rolled and what's going on here, you definitely will win.
For that final blow, whenever it goes in, I want to sink it deep and like pull her in and just kiss her as I just pull it out. I want to feel her die on my mouth. Basically.
Absolutely.
I want to take a bite too. I want that flesh.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Rolex and Les, as Sifia is combating with you guys, lightning is shooting off in different directions here. Les and Rolex, in the heat of this moment here, you have one final flashback, and you see your former master, again, in his last moments where he died underground. You see Sifia, but again, you didn't recognize him at first because he was actually much different. It wasn't gaunt. It wasn't skeletal and tall and gangly, but you recognize the markings on his chest and his garb that he's wearing. You see it clearly that he was the one who pierced into your former master's chest and basically removed his heart. How do
It's a
you
bad thing.
how do you unless want to finish off this creature?
I don't see Rolex getting like zany crazy. So it would just be making sure it's a decisive yet quick ending. Just like stomp on his head or something. You know, once he's pretty much out, just stomp on his head to make sure he's not coming back.
Less
I could see Les with his what is it, protection stance or whatever it's called, just trading blows with Rolex, just back and forth with Antiva, just hitting him back and forth, ping ponging him until he drops, and then Rolex just stop.
Absolutely, going back and forth like two people who are in like perfect sync with fighting, going back and forth, hitting one another, dropping him to his knees. Less like kind of like cuts out like the back of his leg. He drops down to his knees. Rolex again comes in and hammers him in the head and drops him down. And right as he tries to get back up, Les buries his sword deep into its stomach. Right as Rolex's foot comes down and just kind of like ends him quickly and decisively. Ami, there are several guards that are rushing in, several obsidian soldiers that are running in here. With what you rolled, the giant bone skeleton can wipe them all off and make sure that, again, they don't go there. How do you see that happening?
So, and she's going to pay attention. Are any of the guards that are rushing in Suli?
No, these are the mechanical guards. The big...
Okay, so these are just the obsidians.
Yes. Okay.
How big are they in comparison to?
Oh, they're small compared to this creature.
Okay.
They are about 14, 15 feet tall. This creature that its arm is about 12 feet long. It's just by itself, its arm.
And strength wise,
it's monsters.
It's literally going to the arm that it isn't using currently. It's just going to scoop them up and effectively just crush them.
Okay, absolutely. Just picking it up and like popping them like a tin can. Rolex, it's a little unnerving seeing this happen, I would say, maybe for you.
Yeah.
Abby's just the eye socket.
I'll stay out of Bony Arm's reach for now.
Yep.
I would never do that to you.
As this happens, Ami, you see the creature is starting to lose steam as this is going on. And Raids, as you're attacking and honing in on Phineas, you can see him starting to get smaller and like more gaunt. He's losing energy, and you can see it kind of radiating out of this medallion that's over his thing. He's confused as to why it's not working and why his skeletal creature is not commanding over him anymore. You wanted to lay waste to him and kill him. How did you want to do it?
Am I able to like? So like he's like looking up to see like the skeleton
all he
creature,
sees is he sees the skeleton creature like laying waste to his obsidian soldiers and things. He's confused, and as he is, he's like withering away. It looks like this thing is draining energy from him, and the thing that's keeping him alive.
Hey, can I have that medallion?
So what Raze is going to do is he's going to walk to an angle where like Phineas kind of has to look at him, like I'm almost like I'm blocking line of sight, but I'm not because the damn thing's huge. But just where like I'm front and center for him, I'm going to drop my disguise and like just my normal outfit, stand up to my full height, and like my outfit is designed so that I'm essentially wearing like tearaway clothes.
Just tearaway.
That is
like
awesome.
Because I look like I don't look like a tiefling. I look like a what is it? Like the Jersey Devil kind of, like that kind of devil. That's what I look like because that I took the little alter tiefling thing, and I'm just like I want to inflict as much terror in him as possible as I cast Eldritch Blast to just obliterate him with the flames that obliterated my life.
Okay. All right. Ophidian, as you finish off this woman here, you turn your attention towards Phineas, and you can see him withering already. He looks like he's done. And as he's withering, his body is elongating slightly. He's starting to look more and more like Sifia and Tiva as far as that goes. And you can see Sifia just get curb stomped right then and there. And as Ophidian, you're looking at him like, oh, he's probably done for. You just see rays drop down in his pure Jersey Devil style form and Eldritch blast him to the face. And again, he is done at this point.
I would also like to use Mantle of Shadows to steal his shadow.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ooh.
You definitely can do that. So with
I am
that,
Phineas now.
with that, I think that is where we will wrap for this group in terms of story. They had come in and they have successfully overthrown and basically changed the entire landscape of this city.
Who's taking charge now, though? That's
We'll see.
yeah.
Who knows?
All the other
But what do
family.
you mean who's taking charge
That's
now?
for the
Me,
monks to
obviously.
find out.
Yeah.
Don't
Good
worry
point.
about it.
Ami's going to be in charge of this unless somebody has a bigger skeleton.
I do want to look at the envoy and look over at Ray's and go in the back of the envoy. Just a pile of insects you said about the fifth form. I just laugh at him.
Oh, snap.
So, again, that is where we'll wrap. The city is on fire, but again, you guys
Mission
have
accomplished. Mission
you
accomplished.
guys have successfully killed the big bad. Rolex and Les have avenged their fallen family, and Ami has a brand new skull that
I
she
got a
can
new
live in.
child that I can use to save the forest
Well,
and
she
make
can also
her
live in-
happy.
She
You
can
can
also
also-
live inside the
I
skull,
was
so she's
about
not
to
homeless
say.
anymore.
I have
Exactly.
two
Well,
homes
hey.
now. I
Two
have
homes
two
now.
homes. I have
Two
one
homes.
inside of the big skeleton, and I've got one little room that I made inside of Rolex's chest.
That's
There
true.
you go.
That's true.
They're
That's
both
true.
portable, too. That's
I
nice.
don't like
vacation
this
homes.
trend in your home decor.
Well, I appreciate you guys playing here. I apologize we ran a little bit longer, but again, I wanted to wrap up tonight. And again,
Great, dude.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
epic,
this
man.
is very good.
Wonderful campaign.
And if everybody's cool with hanging out for a few more minutes, we can just
Yeah.
talk about some of the stuff that we've done. And I wanted to think pretty much back to the beginning. My memories of starting with Rolex with this campaign, just kind of waking up a few years ago before we actually started the story. But he started the campaign just kind of wandering the streets, looking at people, and met up with Les and of course their buddies now. And there's a whole lot of stuff that happened in between there. Anybody else had anything they remember that we did that was kind of cool?
There was that one time I took control of that really big like Titan skeleton, and that was
Yeah,
really
there's
cool.
that.
well,
Yeah.
In
I
my
was
defense, I just joined this campaign.
well,
Yeah.
Ami making the play and accepting her and offering herself up to the goddess of death to revive Les, I think was pretty freaking cool.
That was a really
Yeah.
cool.
Like,
That was
yeah.
a really cool moment. I was so stoked about that. I like ran upstairs to my partner after the session. And I was like, you'll never guess what I just did.
That's very
Like-
cool. It's a shame that Rolex didn't recognize that at all, and he is convinced. Yes.
That's part of Rolex's charm. That's part of his
Yeah.
charm.
What, I'm sorry. When Ami did what? You mean when I brought back
I
my
did it.
friend?
Yeah.
I brought back Les.
I don't know what she was doing.
Yeah, she's just standing
She
there.
didn't even remember to take her stuff when we
He
left.
was never here.
Yes, exactly. We were never here, and then bam, Les is up. Done.
Oh man, just Les getting electrocuted like
I
every
was
other
about to
episode
say.
was probably one of my funniest things of the whole entire thing. I'm assuming he got shocked at least twice during that last combat too. With
Oh yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
He's sizzling a little bit.
Beautiful moment.
that
I
first
thought
one
wrecking the
where
power
we got
plant
on.
heart was fun.
What was that, Chris?
So wrecking the power plant heart thing was cool.
Oh god,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that was
We just-
that was such a fun fight.
Oh yeah,
It took everything out of us.
Dude,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like I felt like that thing was like a Vitamix. We just kept throwing stuff in it, hoping
Yeah.
it would break, but it just kept chunking, chunking,
Something will
chunking.
work.
It was basically, but yeah, I mean that was very, very,
Including my
very,
over-
very smart to throw things into it because that led to a bunch of other chaos and stuff that went down. So
Yeah, Eli, including my overabundance of hit points, got us.
Yeah. Like we were, oof, we ran dry on everything. I was about to start slinging cantrips at Antiva. Another moment I really appreciate is one that y'all will never let me live down.
Murder.
Murder.
Killing them in their sleep, are you?
I didn't want to say it, but I was going to bring it up.
It's
still
gonna
don't
come to
think-
less in the middle of the night one day.
I still don't entirely understand why I was asked to kill her, but
But
I
it
mean,
happened,
hey,
right?
orders are orders.
If you guys have questions about why, I can message you guys in private because again, everything does have a reason for it. And there were things that you guys did not see, like again,
You
you
murdering
know,
my best friend
murdering your best friend.
and slapping him on the front page.
Us
Yeah.
will approach Rays and go, our friend has been.
Yep.
What's the
The,
word I'm searching for?
the inner political turmoil between the fifth form and what was going on with that, which is why you were also again
We
told to
avenged our
off,
friend, Rays.
which is why you were told to off her raise as well. There were reasons behind that and what it wanted to kickstart. So there's a lot of things that went into it. If you guys have questions about those stuff, I'm more than happy to answer those things.
Eli, I know I latched onto that one because throughout the day, or the 2 days, I think that we hung out with that woman, she was very interested in Rolex because he was a really cool specimen of a construct. And he was encouraged that somebody was recognizing a real difference, right? And
She's like,
and then
who owns him? I'm like, oh, he's free.
and then it's like, all right, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. No, we won't. Not if Ray has
Yeah.
anything to say about it.
I'll never forget everyone's face when Ray's decided to kill her.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
it
gonna
was so
assume this
beautiful.
is before I joined the party.
Yes,
It
it
was
was.
very
It was
obvious.
before you joined.
They had a very nice young woman who got them into the quarantine zone to help them figure out what's
Vital.
going on.
We could not have made it in or out of there without her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then after everything happened,
Less
and
than
they had
6
made
hours later.
they had made friends with her. Rolex, like Rolex said, was very very much happy with this new friend.
Mhm.
Ray's had to murder her.
Yep.
in
She
her
was
sleep.
literally a new friend.
Like
She was
Les's whole stance is he has a sword and a shield, and he immediately was like, "Here, you hold my shield, so you're safe." The whole-
Oops. But that just reminded me too, the whole quarantine thing. We went through that. That part of it, at least, we spent some time in where we were behind the green, and then we went into the house with the emaciated citizens, and we kind of helped them. And
That was a really cool moment.
yeah, and then the underground and the big. I keep thinking it was like wall crawling lizard things that came after us, and yeah, all that happened too.
Where I lost
Yeah,
my
no.
equal the first time.
Yeah, you guys went across the breadth of the city for a good chunk of it here, so it was good stuff. You guys kicked some ass, took some names. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate.
Save some plants.
Yep,
And
I
talk to plants.
appreciate being able to DM for you guys here, and hopefully everyone had fun. And
Dude, loved
on
it.
to-
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Definitely. And of course, the world is still open. We're just going to move on to something a little different, and we'll be continuing. And at some point, we might even get back to Erridan and see what's happened with these
with the monks,
creature
the monk
characters.
squad.
Yeah, we get to deal with the fallout of,
Yes.
of our
Oh, gosh.
party's
It's
actions
almost
as
interesting.
a
It's
party that has
interesting.
nothing to do with it.
Well, it's funny. Do you run the monks as after this, or do you run the monks concurrently as things are happening as this group was doing stuff?
Well, if
That
we
could be
decide we
interesting,
want
too.
if we decide we want to run back to Erridan, that'll be a group decision, and then we can play that out and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Uh,
just told to level them up like alongside.
Yeah,
That's
they would
true.
have to be leveled up a little bit as well, unless we started concurrently, in which case then they would level up as things
Right.
progress normally.
Yeah.
So
Neat idea.
True.
Very
But anyway,
cool. All right,
thank-
so let's we can
thank
go
you,
ahead and
guys.
wrap this one up for tonight. In the meantime, I think we can all say bye.
Bye.
Yes.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online
Okay.
at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
All right, so Dungeon World next.
Thanks, Randy.
No, no.
Her.